people reading between the lines has led to people misunderstanding, not knowing what people are talking about, not caring anymore.
Starting wars.
Yeah, if people were actually... Seriously. That's a joke. Yeah, it's not a false statement. But if you were truthful...
Okay, let's talk in factual statements only.
Yes, I agree. If you said what was actually on your mind, there would be no misunderstandings. There would be no wars.
And the world would be a lot more boring.
This is Twin Stick Radio, episode 43 for the week of November 6th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Trey Higgins, and I'm joined by Chris Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Justin T. Lopez.
That's me.
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I had a burger. It was old.
It's gross.
Usual.
That sounds about right.
It's like 4.5 hours old.
Can you imagine his counter? His counter's just probably covered in fermenting food.
That's not true.
Like waiting for his consumption.
No, I think he. But it's weird because he buys something, and then like 2 hours later, he eats the said thing he bought, and it's just.
I don't
understand it. I don't either. Like, I get mad at myself for going to Whataburger through a drive-through, and the 5 minutes it takes me to get home, the food. That 5 minutes old pisses me off.
How did this?
It does, man.
I think I've trained myself this way because growing up, I don't, and still to this day, I don't enjoy eating in a car. So if you're on like a road trip and you stop at Whataburger to get food on the way, I will get food because I'm hungry, or I will be hungry, and I'll just wait till we arrive at the destination, and then I'll eat there.
That's my point. Is you will be hungry, so you get food 3 hours in advance of the thought that you might be hungry in 3 hours. So the food is 3 hours old when you could have just been like, in 3 hours, I'm going to go get something and just come back real quick.
I get the road trip thing, though. I just don't get how that translates into everyday life.
It's a survival instinct. I'm constantly planning ahead with my food. What happens if there's
I can't blame you for that one. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we were stuck in here for whatever reason.
Like that episode of Friends when they're stuck in Monica's bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because why did they get stuck? Because there's an argument, right?
Are fighting.
Yeah, and they just didn't want to leave.
Yep.
Didn't they start eating packing peanuts? I think Joey.
No, but Joey made the comment, and he's like, "We may be here a while. We may have to reproduce the human race." And then he asked if anybody had condoms.
That sounds right.
Yep.
If you guys haven't listened to us before, we're a podcast about video games. We record weekly, and we are up on Wednesdays. We start the show with the same segment every week, but I want to segue into one thing so that we don't get stuck immediately on a Red Dead conversation. Chris, how was the Fallout 76 beta?
It was really good. On PC, it gave me a really bad headache, though, because it was running at the field of view was weird, and it was running above 60 frames a second. So I was just giving me a really bad headache. I don't like games that run at above 60 because it's that smoothness. It fucks with my eyes.
Really? It almost looks unnatural, right?
Yeah. I don't like it. I like 30 frames a second. I like looking at a thing that's the way it's meant to be seen with your own eyes, right? Because the reason it looks all funky and weird and smooth is because our eyes can't, we genuinely can't see 120 frames a second. So it looks weird to me and it gives me a headache. Then the field of view was really tight.
Not to get on a frames per second thing, but I had two questions. Question number one was, you said you like 30 frames per second.
Yeah, whatever standard is.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, does 60 frames like kind of hurt your head too?
Yeah, sometimes. Like, I'm really glad Destiny 2 is not 60 frames a second because I might not have been able to play it. Red Dead's at 30. Games that I have played at 60 would be, I don't know. It's not every game. Like Zelda ran at 30 frames a second, but man, I got real bad headaches playing Zelda.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's probably a combination of things. It's probably a combination of the frames, the field of view. They added this depth of field thing. So if you're looking at a tree and you're focused on that one tree, everything else pretty far behind it becomes blurry. That's really weird for my eyes. I'm just not used to that in a video game a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I was getting headaches on PC. I doubt I'll get those on PS4 because I'm further away from the TV.
Well, and also the field of view on PS4 won't be as far.
Right, exactly. So, yeah.
My second question was, you said that most people, this again, I don't want to like turn this into a conversation. You said people can't see in 120 frames per second.
Well, we can't process it. You can see it. Your brain just can't process 120 frames.
So if a game's playing at 120, what does your brain do? Do you know?
It's seeing as much as it can, which is why it looks so smooth.
Oh, okay.
I think that the human eye can see
32 frames, technically.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 90.
No, I don't think it's that high. I think it's like 32. I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
Could totally be wrong.
I think you're right.
But yeah, like your brain can't process that many frames a second. Like your eyes just that split second it takes your eyes to tell your brain what you're seeing. That the frames are moving faster than that. So.
Yeah, because your eyes are on a slight delay from what you're actually seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to the Fallout.
Sure. I thought it was really fun. I think it did what Bungie did with Destiny 2's Forsaken, is they took something that a small group of people loved about Fallout, and then they made that. And unfortunately, that is segregating a huge chunk of Fallout fans. So most Fallout fans, I think I can speak for Trey on this, very much loves the idea of a narrative driving you forward and interacting with that narrative and interacting with the world and changing that world as a character. I think that is a huge part of Fallout that Fallout 76 does not do in any way, shape, or form. What Fallout 76 does is they do Fallout like I like to play Fallout, where I download a shit ton of mods and I don't even touch the stories. I just go and explore, right? That's all I really do in like on my Fallout 4 playthrough. It's just a survive, explore, and collect as much shit as I possibly can. Build up cool bases because of the building functions in Fallout 4 and all that other stuff. I have finished the Fallout 4 actual story, but it's like Skyrim. I've never finished a Skyrim story because that's not why I play Bethesda games. I play Bethesda games to explore the world, right? That's why after 60 hours of Red Dead Redemption, where I should be done, I'm not. I'm only like on chapter 5. Because I just love exploring these worlds. And I think what Fallout 76 does is they do a really good job of taking that audience. And the thing is that audience are the same audiences that keep mods alive in Fallout 4, right? Fallout 76 was definitely developed for people who are actually still playing Fallout 4, which is not Trey, which is not Everett, which is not you, which is not, 3/4 of us in this room. However, I still play Fallout 4. You know what I mean?
Just survival mode.
Sure. That's all it is. And that's what 76 is. It 100% is not for, we've talked about this before. I feel like it's definitely not a Fallout for everybody. And it's not, and that's what it is. I think they did what Bungie did and they segregated a huge chunk of their audience, in doing what they did. Just like Destiny did with Forsaken, they just segregated, me and Trey as players and catered to the streamer and catered to the hardcore, where Bethesda did not really consider. I don't know what to say. Consider, maybe they did consider, but they just did not cater this game to people who play Fallout for the narrative because it's not there. It's actually boring. The actual overall story and narrative is very boring. However, exploring the world is a shit ton of fun. Super cool.
Does it feel like there's enough there? I mean, just based off the beta.
It's big, man. It's a big ass map. 4 times the size of Fallout 4. It's huge. And there's always something around the next corner, right? There's always another holotape that opens up another blip on your map, or there's another rumor on a piece of paper about this Nuka-Cola factory to the west. There's all these different things that for an explorer is 100% great, and there's always something to do. And what makes it even cooler is you're fighting these feral ghouls, and they're rushing at you, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know this is going to happen. All of a sudden, somebody else comes in and starts shooting, and it's kind of like save the day type thing. The multiplayer is fun, man. It's really, really cool playing Fallout with another player. And then events are fun. They're just like public events that's just randomly happen and you get shit. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I'm going to be very interested to see where this game is at in a year.
Yeah.
Because I don't know as of right now that it's even going to be around in a year, to be honest with you.
Oh, well.
Like,
I mean, it may be around, it just won't be played often.
yeah, that's kind of where I land. Like, we were talking about this kind of before you started playing on Friday. Like, a couple things just bothered me about it. The lack of NPCs is still just, I can't get over it because, like you said, like for me, like it's not necessarily a overriding narrative, but I like the narrative parts of Fallout.
Sure,
like,
but
the quest structures are what kind of keep me going.
Sure, and that's the thing. Like that's the only thing that I'll be a shill about this game for, is because it's 20 years after the bombs dropped, so there's not going to be anybody out there.
Sure,
it makes sense from a narrative, and that's the only time I'll actually be a shill about this game, because it just makes sense as there's nobody out there.
Right.
You, as a Vault 76 resident, in 200 years will be Preston Garvey, will be, Deacon from the Railroad. You are finally populating the world.
Well, it's not a matter of it not making sense. Like, obviously, you're right, but I mean, first, it's a video game, so they literally could set the time anytime. And then the second thing is that, like, also it makes sense from a gameplay perspective, because in Fallout, you can kill any NPC you want. And if you had players running around killing quest givers, like, how do you make that work per game? Like, I get why it's not there, but that's the thing. The other thing that, like, bothers me is, I get that it's an MMO, and I get there's a bunch of reasons why this exists, but to me, this is not Fallout. Just the level gating across weapons and zones and all that. Like,
yeah, I got a shotgun at level 4. I don't know what your friend was talking about.
Like, my friend was saying that, like, he immediately after leaving the vault, he went to an area and was scavenging stuff, and he found a shotgun, and it was level gated for 15. And at this point, I've watched about 6 hours. I watched Whitney play for a little bit the other day, like 6 hours of gameplay across a bunch of different streamers. And I've seen stuff like that happen. But to me, like, part of what makes Fallout is that freedom, the fact that, like, you can get out of the vault and walk from one side of the map to the other map. And I get that it's an MMO and all that, but those are some of the things that, like, I just sort of expect from a Fallout game. And,
Sure.
And the fact that, like, those don't exist, like, make me less excited to play it. But if the game's supported well over the next year, like, I think that there's a bright future for this game.
Sure.
And there's a bright future for this game when it costs $30 as opposed to $60, and me not really being super into how it is right now.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm more excited to see where it's going to go, not so much excited on its launch. You talked about a person coming in and, like, helping you. Did you play the beta by yourself, or did you have someone playing?
No, I was by myself.
Do you think that you would enjoy it as a solo player, or is it something that you would need a party to really get the most out of it?
I think that would I enjoy it as a solo player? Yes,
sure.
Because this is the reason I play Fallout.
Yeah,
Fallout 76 is my Fallout 4. So yes, I'm going to enjoy it solo.
Did you encounter any, like, griefers or any, like, negative?
You
like,
can't grief in this game. Legitimately, there's no griefing in this game. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
Unless,
because of the damage reduction.
There's
and all
a
that.
99% damage reduction if somebody shoots you. You just can't grief people in this game.
Mm-hmm. Nobody, like, swooping in, like, killing a thing that you were trying to kill and steal. Like, I don't know. How does the items work? Or is it like whoever does the most damage on a creature gets to loot it? Or
no, I mean, it's open loot for everybody. Everybody has their own loot pool as well. So it's not like you're all pulling from the same pool. So if you kill an enemy, you just go loot it. Like, it's an instance loot. So it's your loot. The only thing that isn't instance loots are things that are, like, sitting on a table. So they're like, there's a gas can sitting on a table and one person takes it, it disappears for everybody in the world.
That's interesting.
But if it's like a container, everybody can loot the container.
Do those do those items respawn?
Yeah, they all respawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything's on a respawn timer.
Okay, so, like, if you go and clear out a shack,
like,
and
30
when you
minutes
come back
later,
and log in later, you can come.
No, I think so. Once you clear it, it's gone.
Oh, okay, cool.
But then, like, 30 minutes
if
later,
I clear it,
I could
you could go back
later,
and get it. And, okay, cool.
Yeah. It seems like it, at least. So yeah.
Cool.
Yes, I am going to enjoy this as a solo player, but Whitney and I are going to play together on PS4.
Except you're going to be out leveling her by a significant margin.
Sure, maybe. It comes out next week, so I don't know. I'm balls deep in Red Dead, and I don't plan on giving that up anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. She might outlevel me, to be honest with you.
What's your moist level on this Fallout 76 beta?
What? Hold on. Moist level? Why did you say that?
Because are you taking off your socks? Are you rolling up?
Oh,
you rolling up your pants?
I thought you were asking how. I thought you were asking how like wet I am for this beta. For
right,
this game.
but I was told to choose a different word.
Then
well,
wet,
than wet.
or moist?
I mean, but like, yeah.
Then wet.
Why don't you just say how shallow is this beta or something like that?
I like moist.
Does this take your phone out of your pocket? Moist.
Are you asking for the analogy that we use, like it's wider than it is deeper? Is that what you're asking?
Sure.
Because I think it's deeper than it is wider, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think there's a very linear thing that you can do, but everything that you can do goes, 100,000 feet down because there's just so much shit there. But again, it's not wide because there's not that overarching, like really cool story driving you forward where you can go do a whole bunch of different things and there's branching paths and going off in it, but it's just one, it's an Olympic pool, but it's just one lane. Yeah, but it goes really deep.
There's no variation, but in the systems that exist, there's a bunch of stuff you can't.
Yeah, they've improved the crafting. They've improved a lot of stuff over the Fallout 4, formula, and they've even improved the graphics engine. The graphics don't look that bad.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree that they improved the graphics?
No, I was watching. I've been watching streams and stuff, and I was like, "This looks bad," but whatever. This is on a computer. I was watching Whitney play, and I was,
that's because I had it down on medium.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know.
Yeah, I had it down on medium.
I would say even watching it in like high quality, 1080p on YouTube and stuff, I think it looks uglier than Fallout 4, which makes sense. I mean, you have a bunch of people that are loading into the same world, of course. But I didn't realize you were playing on PC.
Again,
on medium.
I think they've made some graphical improvements. I didn't say the whole thing was better. There are some graphical improvements.
They added a texture or two.
No, I think the textures are all reused. The lighting's a little bit better in this game. If you're running on a really powerful PC,
it could make a difference. Lighting.
Sure, but Bethesda games suck on PC anyway. Well, Bethesda games run shitty on PC because you have to freaking
optimize
it. You got to go into the INI settings and optimize your computer to do this and then all. It's just Bethesda games are just dumb sometimes on PC.
It takes a while.
It just takes a while, which I don't think anybody really likes to do. People play PC all the time, but they don't like to actually optimize their games for it. I know I don't like optimizing games for that shit if I'm not really invested in it. But yeah, I think it's good. I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's definitely not. It's a tried and true statement. It's not for everybody, but I like it.
But
I think
it's for
cool.
you.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
All right, how's everyone's week in Red Dead been? Where are we all at, like story wise? Like what chapter?
I think you're
just
definitely
started chapter 5.
I think I'm still in chapter 2.
You think you're in chapter 2?
Well, I know I'm still in chapter 2. I just don't know how.
Have you seen the chapter 3 title screen?
I don't know how far into chapter 2 I am in.
I'm guessing by comparison to how long chapter 2 was and kind of the things that I accomplished. I think I'm like around the 3/4 point of getting through chapter 3. So I should be in
Where
chapter
you
4
at?
soon. I'm at that point where you have like 2 separate missions to kind of like play the families against each other.
You're not even 3/4 of the way through chapter 3
okay.
yet. Nope.
But
I would say you're a quarter, or maybe if you break it up into sixths, you're like 2/6 of the way through,
and I will
2.5 sixths.
I will say that like once you kind of get through chapter 2, I think you have a pretty good idea of the things that are actually driving the main narrative forward, and the things that you have to do that are kind of like more about building your relationships with your companions. So I have been steadily like hitting all of the companion quests before I do the next one that I know is going to drive the narrative forward.
Sure.
So it's like on my map right now, the only dot I have is you have those 2 missions you do. I have the other mission, and then I know when that clears out, I'm going to have a new set of missions.
Well, like I said, the yellow dots, you're not going to progress further in the story until the yellow dots are ready for you to. You can't miss quests from the yellow dots.
No, that's what I'm saying though, is that like in order, there's usually like kind of a gate. There's usually a mission that kind of gates you before you can progress the main narrative, before the next dot for the main narrative shows up. And I've kind of figured out like what quests I need to do to get more dots. So I've been clearing out the ones that I think are not going to give me more dots. The ones that are just kind of like, you do this, and then, you have to go and clear out more.
Maybe.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. Cause
I sort of get it, but again, like the yellow dots, it doesn't matter what you do and what order you do them, because you're going to progress the story the exact same way.
Okay.
Yeah, the white dots are the ones you can miss. Those are the missable ones.
No, I don't think I can miss anything. I just know that like there are times where like I will do a yellow dot quest and nothing will happen.
Sure.
And then I will do a yellow dot quest that's more related and a couple more things will pop up.
Sure.
Like I just think my theory is, and whether or not this is correct, I don't know, because I don't think anyone's really explained how progression in the story works. But my theory is that there are some quests that are just like, this is a one-off quest. It's a main quest. You got to do it. It's a yellow dot. But it's not really going to push anything forward. And then there are other quests that, like, once you complete that quest, it activates more quests. Sure. And it's not that it's necessarily connected to the main narrative. It's just that, like, you do this and it opens up a couple more things you can do.
Sure. Yeah. If you're trying to figure it out, more power to you. But like I said, the yellow, it doesn't matter what order you do the yellow dots in.
Yeah.
There's definitely like I don't know what it is, but there is a flow to where if completing the quest in a certain order would probably make the story kind of flow a little bit.
But you can't complete it in a certain order. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's literally no way for you to do these things in a certain order. You just do them, and it all drives the narrative forward. There's no right or wrong way to do something. There's no, well, if I do this first, I'll get 2 more to pop up. It doesn't matter. It does not matter the order you do anything in this game, because it will purposely drive you forward when it's ready to drive you forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I follow.
But again, like the white ones, you can totally miss.
Yeah.
Don't miss those.
I did find out, you guys probably already know this, but an easy way to get a perfect pelt, rather than like
headshots.
But
clean headshots.
Did you know this usually only works with like deers and stuff that you can like ride up next to? You can lasso them, and then you basically like kind of like hog tie them, and then you can like skin them that way.
That's a terrible way to kill an animal.
Yeah, you can do that. I was seeing.
But you don't have to worry about the shooting.
I've done
just headshot it.
I've done that, but the problem with doing it that way is that a lot of times, like there's only a certain amount of animals you can lasso like that.
Yeah,
and
can you lasso a raccoon?
I don't think you can. I think it's like coyote and wolf and deer size.
Sure.
Actually, you might not be able to with wolves, but I find it a lot harder to lasso them than it is to just shoot the neck or the head.
I don't
or whatever the weak spot is.
Do you guys do Deadeye whenever you go for the headshots, or you just?
If it's running, I use Deadeye. If it's standing still, I'll just aim.
I encountered like a really big elk at one point. Didn't realize I had my vermin rifle out, so I was just
varmint.
That's what it is. Vermin. I mean, I don't know. It's a vermin.
Sure.
But so I was just unloading into it. I was like, why is this thing not dying? And then by the time I realized, I had already like went with what I was doing, so I just unloaded into it.
Sure.
That happened to me when I was hunting the legendary fox, I think it was. I had switched to the varmint rifle, and I just didn't realize I had it on, and I kept shooting it. And I was like, why is this thing living? And I opened up my weapon wheel. I was like, what the fuck? So I just pulled out a repeater and like shot it once. And
can you damage a legendary pelt? No, okay,
I
didn't think so.
I have a problem with these legendary animals because I use like a high-powered sniper rifle with express rounds, and I hit it dead between the fucking eyes, and it still runs away. Mm-hmm. I think that's so stupid. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Is when this entire game is based in realism, and I shoot a fucking giant elk literally in the eye socket, and it runs away. That's pretty stupid.
Like yellow health bar enemies.
Pretty fucking stupid.
I was telling Chris when I hunted the legendary bison, I gotten like 3 or 4 headshots on it, and it just wouldn't die. But I had alerted it, so it was running. So finally, like I catch up to it, shoot it in the head again, and it dies, but it falls into the like water. And so it was night, so I had to camp. And what I didn't realize is that sometimes when you camp, it doesn't necessarily place you where you place your camp at.
Yeah.
It'll move you.
It'll put you at did like actual places Rockstar has said this is where you camp.
Yeah.
It's usually like a flat kind of
Like a flat,
area.
yeah, exactly.
Well, so I didn't realize that. So I camp and I get like transported to a different area. The morning comes and I cannot for the life of me, because it wasn't marked on the map, find where the body was. So I'm on my horse, like kind of
Why wasn't
walking
it
around.
marked?
I don't know.
There should be a golden paw where
There,
it dies.
when I
An animal
found it,
carcass,
and there wasn't at first. So I'm like running around this lake trying to figure out where I killed it at, because I have no sense of direction because it was dark before. I finally like figure out where it is because I'm like looking in the water and I can see the body. I pull out my rifle and I start shooting the body, and when the body floats to the top, that's when the gold paw print appeared.
Interesting.
Then I had to get on my horse and push the body out of the water onto the shore in order to skin it. Which, if I had just left it there, the parts would have gone to the necessary
or you could
places.
just go to the trapper.
But I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, you can just leave it dead on the ground.
Yeah.
The pelt will go to the trapper, and the trophy will go to the fence.
Yeah, which I had no idea until Chris told me when I told him that story like 2 minutes later, because I was so frustrated.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been concentrating on the challenges a lot, just because. Except the outlaw one, because I want to get my honor all the way up, and doing the outlaw stuff makes your honor go down real fast, like real fast.
I feel like it's really easy to lose honor in this game.
It is.
Like,
and
I'll shoot people or punch people that are definitely like they're shooting at me, and then I lose honor, and it's like,
Well, it matters if you instigated it, right? Like if you walk up to someone and they're like, "Get the fuck away from me," and you keep standing there, and then they shoot you and you shoot them, that you get bad honor. But if someone just starts shooting at you and is being a dick to you, like, you don't lose honor if you retaliate.
those are called enemies.
those are bad guys.
It's not always enemies, though. Like, there was a time where I walked into town and just, I guess, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, this does put this guy kind of in the category of enemy. But I was basically just being harassed by a guy as I was walking in. And
Sure, it wasn't like an O'Driscoll or somebody.
No, it was a civilian that was just like walking behind me and like, "You're causing trouble, get out of here," blah 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 blah. And I turned around and punched him, and I didn't lose any honor. Although, like, I was expecting to lose honor, I just wanted him. But then I got a bounty on myself, anyways. So
You got a bounty for punching somebody?
yeah,
I've knocked people out and not gotten bounties.
sometimes if it's, I don't know how it figures it out. But, like, if I walked into the middle of town and just punched someone, like a random person, I would get a bounty.
Sure.
But I guess it treated it like that scenario.
That's
or maybe
weird.
I did it in front of a lawman.
Sure,
I don't know.
The bounty system.
He was a lawman himself.
Yeah, he was actually a cop.
Yeah, the bounty system's weird. But yeah, I figured I'm going to wait till I'm done with the story before I start doing the outlaw stuff, because I just don't. I was telling Trey, like, I had an idea of what was going to happen at the end of this game, and I think I don't know how it happens, but I know I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I could attach my lasso to other horses, that, like, so my idea was I wanted to lasso someone and then tie the other into a horse and then just like slap him on the butt and then just let the horse run away. But couldn't do it though.
Oh yeah, you don't have like two points of lassoing.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, what you could do is you could lasso a guy, hog tie him, put him on a horse, and then like just shoot or tell the horse to flee, and then the horse would go running with a guy on his back.
Yeah, but I wanted the horse to like just drag him away.
You're both terrible people.
He was dead already.
Oh, I
I
guess.
just-
I guess if he's
Why
dead
does it
already.
like? I don't get. Okay, now I don't get it, because like
I just wanted to see if it would work,
Oh
and it didn't,
no.
because apparently there's only one lasso in this world.
What?
Because you only have one lasso,
Sure.
so I
but-
can't get rid of my lasso.
Yeah, but you don't need a second lasso to lasso to tie the other end around a horse.
No, but if I tie my lasso to a horse and then say goodbye, horse,
Oh, you lose. your
I'll have
lasso.
no lasso.
Got it.
And what is a cowboy without his lasso?
Got it. I am on a challenge where you have to disarm 3 people, and it's annoying as fuck.
Do you
Oh.
do that with your lasso?
No, you have to shoot their guns out of their hands, and it's annoying as
Oh.
hell.
The Chris. So there's another one. I think it's a weapons one, where you have to kill people with knives within 10 seconds
Yep.
of each other.
That one's annoying too. Was annoying.
Yeah, I told you, like, I had a thought about how to do it, and I did it that way. I lassoed 3 people, hogtied them, and then killed them all with.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea to freaking do it. Like that's a pretty genius idea. I had to aim, throw, deadeye, hit another one, and hope to God that I was going to hit the last one. Be good enough to hit the last one, and I did.
It's funny that one of the things that like is good about the challenge system is that a lot of the times when you think that something will work to kind of get around having to find things,
sure,
it usually works. Like
because the game's based in realism.
Yeah, like Chris
except
yesterday,
for shooting a fucking elk in the head.
I was waiting for someone to deliver me lunch, and I was watching Chris play the game, and he was on one of the challenges where you have to kill 3 birds of prey with a tomahawk.
Yep.
And he was like, "How the fuck am I supposed to do that?" And I was like, "I think if you kill a deer and just leave the body and walk away from the body, it'll attract birds of prey." Mm-hmm. And it did. It totally worked.
Yep.
And
killing a bird with a tomahawk is just as fulfilling as anything in this game.
As you would think. Yeah.
God,
it's so
it's
satisfying.
just great just seeing a tomahawk fly. You just hear, "Gah!"
yeah, and there's like a weird thumping noise.
Have you seen the clip of a guy who he's trying to intimidate somebody else on the ground? So he points his gun up into the air, pulls the trigger, and then you just see a bird fall down. You're like, what are the odds? What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah.
The like quote of that was like intimidation at its finest or something like that.
I'd be pretty intimidated.
Nat 20 on your intimidation roll. That's fucking great.
There was another quest, like not a quest, but there was like one of those like random NPC encounters in Lemoyne, where a guy goes running by and there's a girl like hogtied on the back of his horse, and she's like screaming for someone to help her, and so I go chasing after this guy and I pull out my repeater, and I got a headshot on the guy, and I was thinking, okay, well the horse is going to stop and it's just going to be freaked out. Nope, the horse took off, ran into the water, and drowned the woman.
Yep. And you lost honor.
I didn't lose honor.
Oh, you should have.
I gained honor.
Oh, okay. Oh, because you shot the guy. Very good.
Yeah, you killed the bad guy.
I will say one thing without giving anything away. I think this game has easily broken my top 3 ever of all time games. However, man, again, without giving it, I told myself, it's like, man, as long as it keeps going at this level of amazement all the way through, it may overtake KOTOR. Like, because I love this game so much, except come chapter 5, just it's so like semi out of left field that I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it yet. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a point in the story where it's like, that just I don't know, but I just started, so maybe it'll round out and be like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing to get. It's just not what happens. It's how it just whatever
Something occurs.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on it yet, but I just started, so it may be fucking great. I have no idea.
I had a similar thought. Like right now where I'm at, and mind you, I'm not nearly as far as you. Right now where I'm at, this game is easily in my top 5. I don't think it'll break 3. Because I like, as much as I love this game, like, you know, KOTOR, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, they just kind of have those stories that appeal to me in a different way. But it's definitely in my top 5, unless it shits the bed in the last half, or I guess 2/3 or whatever. So
5/6.
I'm excited though, because someone on a podcast I was listening to said that the epilogue is the longest chapter in the game. And I that's a very interesting
Which
concept
is after
to me.
chapter 6.
Yes. So that's an interesting concept to me. I mean, I'm excited.
So you
to see
think
how
it
that
took you
works
forever to beat Spider-Man?
Yeah, no, for real. I will say I am enjoying this game more than I thought I was going to.
How did you not think you were going to enjoy this game?
I don't know. I was excited for it, and I knew that I was going to get it and play it, but I did not expect to. It's been a while since I played a game, and I've thought about that game throughout the day, even whenever I'm not playing it. Or like I'm excited to get to work and like talk to people about just the game in general. And I wasn't expecting that from this game. As partly due to the fact that I didn't get into the first Red Dead Redemption either.
Shame on you.
I know. Shame.
Yeah. Chris and I were talking about this the other day about how we were basically comparing not comparing. It just came up that we were talking about like Grand Theft Auto stories versus Red Dead, and it kind of got me thinking about like because I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Rockstar. Like I like GTA 5 Online, but the Grand Theft Auto stories, I've only played 4 and 5, but they don't work for me. But I really loved Red Dead 1, and I'm loving Red Dead 2. And I think part of the reason why I like the Red Dead series over the Grand Theft Auto series is just the fact that it takes itself a lot more seriously than Grand Theft Auto does. Like the fact that Grand Theft Auto is a satire on modern day life, just
on everything,
doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I've never like cared about characters in Grand Theft Auto as much as like you guys aren't here yet, but Sadie, for example, you guys are far enough to know who Sadie is. There's parts in this game where like there's a mission in the game where you are in a gunfight and like something happens and it's like I did literally everything in my gamer power to get to that girl as fast as possible because I haven't actually, and that's weird in a Rockstar game because most Rockstar games are like they're just fun, stupid. Like nobody gives a shit about Trevor. Nobody gives a shit about the weird Mexican lady he wants to bang. Nobody gives a shit about any of that. But these characters, I legitimately give a shit about. I care when either they're in trouble or they ask for help or whatever the hell it is. Except for Pearson's, he's a little bitch, and so is Uncle. But for the most part, like it's just this great fucking storytelling. You just they feel like family. If you're putting yourself in that role, they actually feel like family, which is great.
Yeah. You guys ready to talk about the news?
Yep.
I was not ready. I should have given it like a couple more seconds. All
right, Are you ready to talk about the news?
I'm going to save BlizzCon for last.
Lame.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 fans appear to be disappointed with the game's microtransactions. User Refractives on Reddit detailed the various microtransactions and claims that players would have to pay around $200 US or grind for hundreds of hours in order to get all of the items out of the 200 base tiers in this operation or season. Seems as though users have to put in about 2 in-game hours to advance to a new tier and get a single item and get single items from each tier. And players have no control over what they get in their loot boxes. So, yeah, loot boxes still a thing.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I don't really either.
Are these things? Do they help you? Are they pay to win?
My first thought was
I don't get it.
I think it's for character customization. I don't think it affects gameplay at all.
Yeah,
but my thought was like, okay. It's annoying when you have a system that's tied to loot boxes, right?
Sure.
Like Overwatch, I can't get the skins that I want because it's all random.
Sure.
Even getting currency to buy stuff is random. But if I can buy individual items in Black Ops 4, which is kind of what it sounds like,
right? Then what does it matter?
I don't see if it's an issue because I'm not going to want to buy I'm not going to want to spend the $200, but I will spend $30 or $40 to get all the stuff I want.
I've never understood that argument of here's X amount of money that it would take to get all of these items, and it's like, okay, but
do you want all of them?
Well, not only do you want all of them, but why do you feel like you're entitled to get all of these things?
Maybe not entitled, but why do you feel the need to buy to if they're all customization like we think they are? Then who cares? Like, who cares if you need to spend $200 or hundreds of hours in game to get everything? Like, that's not what customization's for, right? Customization is for you to find something that you really like and go for said thing and or spend money on it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the problem is here. However, I don't understand it fully either. So
I mean, I would prefer to live in a world where I could go after specific sets rather than have it be relying on a loot box.
Sure.
But it's still not the Destiny or Overwatch problem.
Sure.
Like in those two games, I can never buy the shit that I want to buy unless it's like on a random rotation I happen to be playing that week.
Sure.
But with this game, at least if I really like that cool operator outfit, like I'm gonna buy it.
Yep. But on the opposite hand, if there are guns that are better than shit you can get in the game here, then you have a huge problem.
Yeah, I definitely
don't think that's an issue. I don't think anybody would be dumb enough to do that again.
Yeah, I definitely don't think.
I don't think Call of Duty would. I would hope.
I don't think anybody's dumb enough to do that again.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see.
It's only a matter of time. Incineroar from Pokemon and Ken Masters from Street Fighter will be joining Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Nintendo revealed that, as well as a collection of new features during their final Smash Direct. I know why I skipped that over because I was thinking Final Smash, like the item. Final Smash Direct last week. In addition to those characters, Piranha Plant will be joining the game as a DLC fighter, available for free to players who buy the game by a certain date. The company also revealed that the game will be getting 5 DLC characters for $4.99 apiece or $24.99 if players opt to buy the season pass.
They also revealed their storyline as well.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it gets to a point where...
Hold on. So $5 a piece or $25 if you buy the season pass.
Yes, I believe you get something extra if you buy the season pass.
Oh, because that's...
because it's 5 times the price.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same price.
I don't think you get anything extra. So the $4.99, what it gets you is the
Gets you a stage, a character, and a music track.
Okay.
Yes. From what I saw,
What
the
does the
season
pass give me?
it
gets
just
you
includes the 5
of
characters,
each of
5
those things.
stages, and then all of the music that goes along with that.
Oh, the season pass is $25.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read that as if you buy the season pass, you can also buy these things for $25
No.
total. Got it.
No.
Okay. Season pass is $25.
Yeah.
But do you get anything extra?
I think you get extra music. I think
Okay.
that's what it was. Yeah. They revealed the new story mode, which is fine. Whatever. Like
Is that what that cutscene was? I don't understand that cutscene. Why is everybody dying?
I think it's supposed
Who
to.
the fuck snapped their fingers?
I know. I can't imagine. I haven't seen any of like the online reception of this. But I can't imagine anyone is excited for this. Like, I liked Smash Brothers for the Wii, and this story looks very similar to that, and that story was not good.
Wait, there's a story in Smash Brothers?
I will say a lot of people are excited about
They're stupid.
the storyline.
They're stupid because like it's not going to be good. It wasn't good in Wii.
Boy, what's a story? What is a story?
In the Wii version, all the characters were being captured from their different universes, and you had to go
messing
save
with your
them.
mic.
I'm trying to fix it because it's like slanting itself. But you had to go to like all these characters are being stolen from different universes, and you had to free them. They're like being frozen statues. It's dumb. The new one is apparently people are being taken from their universes, and things are I don't know, like their powers are being wiped out or something weird like that. And there's weird statue guys and a bunch of master hands coming out of like a magic cloud.
Yeah, the
Why?
master hands was the
Why
weird
does there
thing.
need to be a story?
I mean, I don't think there needs to be, but it's not a bad thing.
Well, it is if it's dumb.
But it's wait. I don't think it's dumb. I mean, I think calling something dumb. That's just opinions.
Sure.
But
saying that something's dumb is subjective. However, from my subjective opinion, I don't see how anyone could have watched the story trailer for Smash Brothers and objectively thought this looks good. Because I think you start running into this point with, and again, I know people have this opinion, I just don't understand it. You start running into this point where like things get so absurd with the way that you're mixing universes, and it makes absolutely no sense that like there's really nothing that they could do besides just suck fans' dicks the entire time in order to make it good, and that's not good.
I think what I get from why people would be excited about it is because you take a concept that people enjoy, Super Smash Bros. It's just, it's centered around matches. It's centered around just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again, almost like an Overwatch or something like that, to where there's not a overarching story or anything like that. So then you add in this story, and it's like, oh, cool! Like there's something else I can do rather than just play matches. That I still get to play the game that I enjoy, but I also get some sort of storyline out of it. But whether it's good or bad or dumb is different.
The thing is it's Smash Brothers. It doesn't need a story, right? It's like it'd be like injecting a story into Mario Kart. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Nobody sits there and plays Mario Kart by themselves 24 hours a day. That they need a story to drive them forward. Same thing with Smash Brothers. Nobody sits there and plays Smash Brothers 24 hours a day by themselves unless they're practicing for some sort of weird tournament. You play with friends. That's what Smash Brothers is. So injecting a story into a game just to justify a narrative where there's multiple characters from different universes, it's money not well spent.
Well, and to your point though, like that mode has existed before. It was the adventure mode in Melee, and that worked because it wasn't they weren't trying to justify why you were Link running through a Super Mario platforming level, but it was cool because it celebrated all of these different franchises. Like, I don't think you need to attach cutscenes and bad guys and motivations behind actions in order to make something cool. Like, I almost would rather have seen them kind of take that adventure route than put a story. Also, to all these people that like...
Well, it's the thing, like the story, it's literally just you picking a character and playing through fighting stages, right? Or is there like a RPG action story?
To be fair,
game?
they haven't officially like revealed it, but if it's anything like the story from Wii, you play predetermined characters throughout the story. So in this level, you're Diddy Kong.
Yeah, but then you just go fight though,
Kong.
right? You just do the main mechanic of Smash Brothers. Just there's a narrative behind it.
Right, there's a goal to what you're doing.
In the Wii version, there were some platforming things that you could do.
Okay,
but,
it just seems
but it was
dumb,
mostly
that's
just
all.
fighting.
I mean,
It's like the story in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Nobody cares. The majority of people just don't care.
I guess it's just it's there for the people that care about it.
Sure,
And then,
but
but
if
you
it's-
also have the normal mode.
Sure, but if it's dumb, then that's money not well spent. That's all.
But I don't.
That's money that could have been spent on something else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see if it's dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just didn't even know Smash Brothers had a story. I literally thought it was just a bunch of really cool characters fighting each other.
Here's my thing about it. Like, this is why I get frustrated about it, and this is why like it's one of those things that like I'm just not willing to have an open mind about. Because for me, when the Wii version came out, like, yeah, the story's stupid, but I enjoyed my time like playing through the story. Like, it was wacky, it was dumb, I hated it, like story wise, but I just thought it was kind of fun and it was a cool new mode. But what ended up happening from that story mode coming out is thousands of people just bitching and destroying that game. Like, people hated it to a point where they hated the entire Wii game. So when Nintendo comes out and they're like, hey, we're putting another story into a Smash game, my initial thought is all these fans that are super excited about it are going to be bitching about it in a month. And I can't like reconcile the fact that like all these people are going to turn into hypocrites in a month. And I know it because like there is no way to make that work. Like, I don't see any way. I mean, mind you, I'm not writing the story for Smash Brothers, but I don't see any way to make that work in a way that's going to appeal to every fan. I could probably play through it and at least enjoy my time, but I don't want to like have to deal with the internet backlash of everyone hating this when they're excited now. It's so hypocritical to me. I get frustrated, and it goes back to that Nintendo fanboyism. Nintendo says this is a good idea, and then people play it, and they're like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. We hate it. Nintendo sucks, and Smash Brothers sucks. And we're just going to be playing Melee for the rest of our lives.
But that's every game, right? That's Fallout 76. Yeah, tell you how we've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. It's really demeaning, loving, or really enjoying a game that nobody else likes. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel like an idiot. It's like, man, why do I even like this game? Because apparently this is literally the worst game that has ever been created. It's like, well, that sucks.
Well, and you know, with a lot of games too, like they have a certain amount of like hate shelf life, like Mass Effect Andromeda. People hated that game for about a year, and then they just didn't care. So the fact that I like it in 2018 is
it's not a big deal.
But with Nintendo games, it's not like that. If you hate a Nintendo game, no one forgets it. Yeah. No one forgets that it was a bad Nintendo game, and you never get to live it down if you like it. And it's just a conversation that comes up all the time that's stupid and annoying. And so exclusionary. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, so fuck you for liking Xenoblade
There was a story
Chronicles.
trailer, and it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, Incineroar looks cool. I don't really...
Incineroar shoots fire out of his dick.
Yeah.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. Have you not played Pokemon?
Not Sun and Moon.
He shoots fire out of his dick.
I think they changed it though.
Oh, did they?
I think in Smash Brothers he blows fire out of his mouth.
That's
I don't think he's like shooting flamethrower from his fucking belt.
That's lame.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be like a wrestler, and he wears
I've
like a championship belt. But when he does like flamethrower,
Just looks like it's coming out of his dick.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yep.
it's pretty good.
But I think
if Pokemon have dicks. I'm not sure how that works.
I'm pretty sure in the trailer he's shooting it out.
Yeah,
of his mouth.
I've literally asked the breeder multiple times, and he won't tell me.
He'll get back to you.
Yeah.
He still hasn't figured it out himself.
Yeah. Toby Fox revealed. No, I'm sorry. Unveiled.
What a
Toby
dumb
Fox.
name.
I think that's a great name.
Is it? It seems like a dumb name.
I feel like there's a natural inclination to not like the name Toby because of The Office.
Maybe. And I don't like foxes. Unless it's a Finnick.
So this guy was just-
unless it's a Finnick fox.
His middle name is Fennec, actually.
No, it's not.
You don't know that. Toby Fox unveiled Deltarune last week, which appears to be a follow-up to the 2015 hit game Undertale. As many fans have pointed out online, Deltarune is an anagram for Undertale. It looks like he, at first, put out a survey. I might be getting this wrong because I could not find a news story that detailed like the exact steps to get it. But it looked like he had put out a survey through Twitter, and after you completed the survey, it would give you a download to this like 1 or 2 hour experience called Deltarune. But after people started like getting in and figuring it out, Toby Fox went on Twitter and was like, "Hey, if you guys could just give this 24 hours and not make a big deal out of this, and like, just kind of keep it a little bit of a secret, that'd be awesome." And so people played through Deltarune and they thought it was great, obviously, because everyone loves Undertale. And then when people started posting videos online, not in a mean way, but Undertale fans were going and like shaming these people. Like not in a mean or aggressive way. It was just like kind of like guilt tripping them. And
still bullying.
For like sharing it or
for putting out a video within 24 hours.
Still bullying.
It wasn't like, it was funny because it wasn't mean. It was like, it was very much kind of like tongue in cheek. And so I know Jim Sterling took down his video for a day, and a couple other creators took down their stuff, but it was more like, again, it was more like just a joke rather than like an actual aggressive thing. And I'm sure the aggressive fans existed, but like if you go and read the comments on those videos, if you go and read those comments on the videos, it's just funny because it's just kind of like people like supporting the developer, but doing it in a fun and like creative way. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to play it. I just haven't had a chance yet.
It's just 2 hours? That?
Yeah, it's only a couple hours long, but it's also free.
Oh, okay.
You just do this thing and you get the download for it.
Gotcha. I didn't know if that was the full game or if that was just a teaser.
So there's a little bit of confusion because some people have referred to it as an episode. The way that Toby Fox had talked about it was that it basically was supposed to be the equivalent of a tech demo of the sequel. But it kind of like got expansive enough where he was like, "Oh, I need to just put this out. Like, this isn't going to be the game, but I've put enough work into this that I might as well give people a chance to play it." So to me, the way that it looks is it kind of just looks like a bridge between the first and whatever the second game will be.
Okay. But it's just like here's this thing I did.
Yeah, but it
turned out really well. Here, enjoy.
It has the same quality as Undertale.
Okay.
It's not like it doesn't seem like a free game, you know.
Cool.
So
check it out.
Cool stuff. In prepared remarks by EA for their investors, the company revealed that Titanfall 3 and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order may be ready for release by holiday 2019. That statement is not totally true, and here's why. The wording of these remarks suggests that there will be 2 games coming out of Respawn by holiday 2019, though it is unclear if these games, if these include 2 or more of the aforementioned projects, or possibly even a currently unannounced project. So everyone thinks that Jedi Fallen Order and Titanfall 3 are coming out next year, but EA never specifically says that because who knows what Respawn's doing. Their team is fairly big. Mm-hmm. So
they could just like throw you off and just, here you go, here's something else.
Yeah, well, so I don't know if it's out or not, but they were working on a Titanfall VR project. And then I thought they were working on another secret project. There was talks, and this was during the time of Titanfall 2. Mm-hmm. And then they were working on the Star Wars project. So they had at least 4 games in development.
I thought the Titanfall VR fell through. I could be wrong, though.
Maybe. I don't know. But I thought they were working on a secret project, Star Wars, and then Titanfall 2. Plus, Titanfall VR was announced like late last year. So yeah. Chris, what do you think about Jedi Fallen Order coming out?
Never.
Never? Yeah, I mean, at this rate, EA has a pretty bad success rate at putting out.
Well, also Disney's canceling everything Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
Like everything.
They canceled the Boba Fett movie.
They canceled any more Han Solo stuff. They said they put that on hiatus. They canceled. What's the Boba Fett was a TV show.
No, there was a movie first. The TV show's Mandalorians, which is
that is
going
still
forward.
happening. Yeah.
Wait, Mandalorians is happening, but Boba Fett's
Mandalorians is still happening. Boba's not.
Oh, I thought they both got canceled.
No. They announced Mandalorians like 2 weeks before they announced Boba Fett was over. And Jon Favreau is working on it, which is pretty neat.
They're like, yeah, we already got the costume, so we'll go through with one of them.
Well, the budget for that show's pretty ridiculous.
It kind of is.
And they did that big reveal on StarWars.com. There's no way they would cancel it in 2 weeks.
That's true. And they need something to put on their Disney streaming service.
Yeah, I want Disney to pull Star Wars from EA and give it to somebody who cares. That's all.
Well, at this rate, that contract's almost over.
Yeah, they need to find somebody who cares.
Who would you like to see it go to if you could choose?
Shit.
Yeah.
Tough question.
No, well, that's the problem is that EA's got all the developers that are perfect for this. It's just EA won't do anything with the fucking license. You've literally got BioWare in 5 different cities all across the world just waiting for you to be like, hey, make KOTOR 3.
I'm curious.
And the EA's is the perfect place to have it because, like I said, they do that. Bethesda I don't want Bethesda to have it.
I don't want Bethesda to have it.
But instead, they're just like, make more Battlefield.
Yeah, maybe fuck, I don't know. I honestly don't. I have to sit down and really think about it. Maybe like Naughty Dog, or just give it to. But that's like a Sony thing, right? Give it to Sony and just make it an exclusive. But maybe Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Sucker Punch. I don't know what the hell Sucker Punch is doing now. I don't know. Fuck, I don't fucking know. But those 3 titles are very niche titles, right? They're very third-person action RPGs. It's like, well, that's not everything Star Wars fans want, right? But EA has BioWare. They have not Activision. I'm sorry. They have fuck.
What's a game they made?
I'm just trying to think. Like, what first-person shooters has EA made?
A
lot. I just can't
Battlefield.
Think of it. Oh yeah, Battlefield. They got Dice. They have freaking.
Oh, and Titanfall.
Yeah, Motion. They have all these. Not Motion. I don't even know. I can't think today.
Motive.
Thank you. They have all these things that are great for making a plethora of different Star Wars games. It just won't do it.
Yeah,
And it's just crazy.
I can't think of a single studio I'd really want to make a Star Wars game. Like my first thought is
BioWare.
Well, aside from, I'm sorry, a single not BioWare
Okay,
studio.
sure. Okay.
You're right. Yeah, BioWare would be my choice, but part of me wonders if the problem with the Star Wars games is in part due to Disney. Because while I think Disney's kind of nailing it with the new trilogy,
Sure.
they aren't willing to take any risks. So I wonder if that's kind of where EA is at. Is that
Do you don't think Mandalorians is a risk? I think Mandalorians is a huge risk.
I think Mandalorians is a risk after, whether or not I agree with these people, this did happen. After just sort of the public outcry against Last Jedi, people really hating Solo, and people not being excited about kind of the direction that Disney's taking. I think Mandalorians is a risk, but I also think that, like, when you think about the EA Star Wars games, they were being developed in a time where the only thing Disney wanted to explore at all was the prequel era, or I'm sorry, the original trilogy era.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like they, like, as far as Star Wars goes, it seems like there's more risk taken with like the TV shows rather than.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that either. No.
You don't think like Clone Wars or anything?
I think that
was all before Disney.
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah, Clone Wars and Rebels took over. Disney got Star Wars like halfway through Rebels.
No, they canceled Clone Wars.
Okay. Disney
then made
canceled Clone
Rebels,
Wars and
yeah.
then made Rebels. Okay.
Okay.
I think Clone Wars, took risks, but that was before then. Dave
couldn't
Filoni
remember
just
when
did
that
a really good job of working within Disney's constraints, but I wouldn't say that Rebels took any risks.
Also, I don't think whatever the new one is very risky either. Resistance. I don't think that's very risky either because they're still working within the confines of already established lore, right? Like with Clone Wars, I think Dave Filoni is working within an established time period, in a very short time period, but a time period that never was talked about, ever. Yeah. The time period between where Resistance takes place, we know everything. We know everything that happens.
Do we?
I mean, for the most part, it's the same thing. Okay, so like we've had this discussion before. Like Clone Wars, like you can take a lot of risks, but we know Anakin becomes Darth Vader, and we know the big plot points, right?
Yeah,
we know the big plot points of Star Wars. But in the Resistance time period, you can't. I mean, you can. I guess they could if they let them take risks and go explore the wider universe as a whole. Sure, but Disney doesn't do that because they're afraid of. I don't know what they're afraid of. I don't know why Disney's afraid. It's the same thing we talk about with like Kylo. It's like, I don't care about Han Solo. I care about learning more about the First Order and learning more about the Knights of Ren and learning more about this whole gray Jedi thing that Ren's about to stumble upon. I care more about that and this universe as a whole than I care about a Solo movie. You know what I mean?
I think it comes down to, the way that people reacted to the prequels and Disney thinking that the only good in Star Wars is centered around the original trilogy. I think that's what it is. That's why they won't take risks.
Possibly.
Because they're afraid of like breaking what the fans think of the universe. But ultimately, like, I think what people forget is that there's a difference between a Star Wars fan and a regular moviegoer that enjoys Star Wars.
Sure.
Like there were millions of us that stuck through and read the books and comics at a time where everyone hated it, and we loved the prequels and we loved the original trilogy and we loved the weird off the wall shit.
We love Last Jedi.
Yeah. And then there's the regular moviegoer who just wants to see fucking Empire Strikes Back remade every year.
Yeah.
And like we said after Last Jedi, like the reality of the situation is people didn't love Empire. When it first came out, it was lambasted, people hated it, completely destroyed their expectations. Now 40 years later, it's considered one of the best movies ever made, because the people that hated it like got over it or didn't care enough to stick with it, and the real fans were like, no, I'm willing to see where this goes, like let's give it some time, this is cool.
But pre-Disney, like, you had all the books, and the books, they go crazy. There's shit that happens in the books that it's like, did George Lucas ever want this to happen? Probably not, but it did. Video games are the same way, man.
At that point.
Jedi Academy, Jedi Knights, KOTOR, freaking
Clone Wars game was really good.
The Clone Wars game, Republic Commando was fucking awesome. SWOTOR, the MMO, like I just don't understand. Like, there's success to be had because over the years, LucasArts has shown that there is success to be had, and there's millions of dollars and billions of dollars to be made on top of your movies. But I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't. Yeah. I don't understand why we're not going to see this Star Wars game by 2019.
You would think that Disney, with how successful they are, that would put them in a. For me, I feel like that would put them in a better place to take risks, because there's no. I'm not going to say there's no chance of failure, but they can almost do whatever they want, but and like what Trey they'll be okay.
No, but that's the thing is, sure, they will be okay, but they don't want to piss off Star Wars fans. Well, and like they already have.
Right.
The thing that they don't realize, though, which is something that, like...
I'm sorry, maybe not Star Wars fans, but people who enjoy Star Wars. I think there's a big difference here, because, like, these are Star Wars fans. I love the prequels. I think fucking Revenge of the Sith is one of the best Star Wars movies that's ever been made.
Yep, I love that movie.
And that is a huge, not a thing that most people agree with.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Last Jedi.
Yep.
People hate Last Jedi because it's so different than Force Awakens, which was basically just a remake of A New Hope.
Yep.
I love Last Jedi, and I think you love Last Jedi, because it was a risk. They blew the doors off of what we expected from the Star Wars universe for really the first time in cinematic history.
In movies, sure.
Because even the prequels are pretty safe.
Yep.
And it's cool because suddenly the universe feels so much more wider and deeper than just another original trilogy.
Yep.
I did have a point, though.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I think one of the things that Disney just doesn't realize is that it's okay if you make something and not everyone likes it.
No, that's not Disney's MO.
I know it's not, but like if you think about Star Wars stuff, like you and I have probably read hundreds of Star Wars books at this point. Did you love every single one of them?
Oh, of course not.
Were there a few that you didn't like?
Yeah, of course.
Did it make you hate Star Wars?
No.
And same with the Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Did you love every Star Wars game?
Love, no.
Like, love is probably.
A strong word. There was I can think of. I think the original Jedi Knight game I wasn't a big fan of. I think the
one that was only first person.
Yeah,
that was Dark Forces.
I think the sequels hit it pretty good.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of Bounty Hunter. Didn't really like Jedi Starfighter.
Bounty Hunter was pretty bad. The GameCube one, right, with Jango Fett.
I think it was. Was it on game? I thought it was PS2.
I think it was that era.
Yeah,
Jango Pod racing game.
No, Pod racing was
fun.
Pod
racing was great.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
That was one of my favorites.
But it's okay if you. I didn't love every episode of Clone Wars.
Sure.
It's okay if you put shit out and people don't like it. Like, just I don't know.
It's just, but it's before. Let's move on from this because it's just so mind boggling because they had the recipe for possibly the greatest Star Wars game ever made in 1313, right?
Yep.
They had it. That thing was going to sell as well as Uncharted 4 did.
And there was a lot of work that was put into it.
Yes, man. It wasn't just Sony exclusive. It was going to be dual platform, and it had the makings of the best. We're talking like Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted 4, Last of Us style production, and then Disney canned it.
Well, to be fair, LucasArts canned it. That was
Fine.
before Disney.
Disney didn't resurrect
resurrect it. Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Just to we've been hating on Disney. Let's
Sure.
give them some credit.
And then they go and make a live action Aladdin. Nobody wants that shit. I don't. I've never even seen Aladdin. So.
You're not wrong. I've seen Aladdin, and you're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
Bungie has added the Temporal Surge to its Eververse store. Eververse traditionally introduces new emotes on a season-by-season basis. Once a new season starts, the previous season is retired. With the Temporal Surge, players will have the opportunity to unlock previous season's emotes until November 13th. The rare and exotic emotes are exact copies of previous season's emotes, but exotics purchased through the Surge will be slightly recolored to preserve the uniqueness for those that earn the emotes in their respective seasons. The catch is that the only way to receive these emotes is by purchasing them for 200 silver for rare, 500 for legendary, and 1,000 for exotic emotes, which is about $2 to $5 to $10 in real money. Here we go. Everyone buckle up.
I'm not going to say anything about it.
No, say it.
Go ahead.
No, it's just dumb.
Why is it dumb? What's
because
dumb?
It's dumb.
Come
I
on,
think it's
Chris.
great. What's dumb?
Don't hold back.
You think it's great, do you?
No.
I just think it's just so, whatever. It's just dumb.
Just do it, Chris.
So
Let it out, because we're going to have to hear about it regardless.
I haven't played Destiny in 2 weeks. Like, hadn't even logged on in 2 weeks.
Hi, Chris.
I don't, number one, I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if there was backlash that this came from. I don't know where this comes from.
This is a money grab.
Sure, it definitely 100% is a money grab. And just changing the color of an emote doesn't justify the fact that, us put in hundreds of hours of pure RNG to get some of these emotes, and now you can just buy them. It's like once again, Bungie, everything we've done over the last 2 fucking years of your game, you're selling. You're belating. You're not
Belittling.
Belittling. Thank you. You're just belittling it.
Or they're what they're doing is they're devaluing.
They're devaluing my time
Yes.
again. The chase. The time that me, Trey, Daniel, Rich, the time that we put in, Everett, to just do something so stupid as Eververse. Because again, Eververse is just dumb because it's all based in RNG loot boxes. But we did it, right? We did it, and I got the fucking cool selfie emote, and I got all these really cool emotes that we can just go ahead and have fun with, right? And we put the time in. Now, Forsaken's free. It's fucking Destiny 2 is free on PC. Forsaken's only $40, and now you don't even have to put the time in to get some of these things. Bungie is really good at taking the people that have stuck with them for fucking how many years now? 4 total years? Almost 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is year 5, technically.
Bungie just does a really good job at taking the people who have stuck with them for 5 years and just not giving a shit about us.
Man,
just doesn't care.
So
it's that bad relationship.
My initial thing is to 100% agree with you, because as you made your case more and more, I suddenly realized why this was getting shitty. On one hand, there's also that part of me that I never got the selfie emote.
Sure,
on PS4.
yes.
And so having an opportunity,
we've said this for Eververse forever. It's just let me buy what I want. But for future shit.
So having the opportunity to get that stuff again is kind of cool to me.
Yeah.
The thing that offends me,
but
and
immediately $10 for an emote tray.
Exactly.
Fuck, man.
Exactly. Chances are I will probably log in this weekend and buy the selfie emote, because it's one of the few exotics that I don't have that I really want to have,
Sure, yeah.
and I don't want to miss out on getting it. However, you can't buy it with Bright Dust. I don't think it's in the regular loot pool at all. That's as
So
far as I can tell.
you can't get it from a drop.
As far as I can tell, the only way to get them, I read
$10.
multiple articles, and they said the only way that you can get them is by spending money.
$10.
But you know what you're getting. This or
It doesn't.
Sure. There's two sides. Yes, it does to one side. Hey, I know what I'm getting. We've been saying this for Eververse forever. It's like, hey, if I want the one thing, just let me buy the one thing. Yes. However, you're buying shit that people put long ass hours in to get.
That's the problem that I have with it. Why make something? It would be like someone being able to go and buy. Do you guys have a day one thing or no? Right? We figured out y'all don't have a day.
No, you have an emblem. Yeah.
It would be like someone being able to just go buy a day one emblem.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
But to me,
there's nothing prestige. If you have something that's limited to a season and you make it seem like it's this prestigious thing that is a time limited thing that is rewarding people that played for this amount of time and did these certain things.
Sure.
Why give people that? I understand it sucks whenever people don't get to get it. And it's nice for the people that don't have it, and then they can buy it, and then it all is fair, right? But then it's not because because they didn't work for it.
But I get it though, because I've played 200 something hours of Destiny.
That's it. You played more than that.
I've played almost 300.
Okay,
but not quite 300. So I played
Destiny
almost
2, or
I played of Destiny 2. I played almost 3 hours of Destiny 2, and there are exotic emotes that I never got because it was random. I get the idea of putting them in the store for people to purchase. However, why not tie them to Bright Dust? Why not put them in the regular loot pool for 2 weeks? Like, give me a reason to go grind out fucking steadfast engrams or whatever they're called.
Or just fucking make new emotes. You have a group of 200 people plus working at Bungie. You're telling me you can't animate 5 new emotes to sell? Is that literally what you're telling me?
There's new meme dances every day.
I mean, they've been doing that and tying them to like the fucking Iron Banner loot box.
Sure, but that's all paid shit too.
Yeah, it's just.
But that's only one thing, right? I don't know. Whatever.
I think there was a whole there have been other special ones that you could only buy through Eververse. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, let me buy it with Bright Dust. If I because in those 300 hours, I have infinite sources of Bright Dust. I can break down all my exotic ships and probably have 50,000 Bright Dust. Not
probably.
really, but a lot of money. And so why not give me the opportunity to spend a bunch of Bright Dust or go grind some Bright Dust or grind for engrams? Take the game out of the fucking earning these.
Good old Destiny. It's been
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's whatever. Literally, it's whatever. I'll play when Black Armory drops.
More BlizzCon or no, actually, BlizzCon news. The BlizzCon news. First up, Overwatch is getting another new hero. Ashe, a former associate of McCree, is joining the game. Voiced by Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale is a cowboy, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The cinematic trailer looked cool for it. Watching gameplay of her, I don't understand the reason for this. She seems like she's too similar to characters that already exist. For me. She seems very, very similar to Black Widow. Her ult, which is kind of cool. Like I don't know if you saw it. She summons Bob, that big.
Oh no, I didn't see it.
She summons Bob, and he acts on his own accord. He basically runs, charges in, and then he starts shooting people for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. But even then, Bob as a character almost reminds me of Orisa in the sense that he has kind of like Gatling guns on his hands. I don't know. She's cool, but she doesn't fill a gap that none of the other heroes weren't already doing.
But she's a strong female.
I feel like she kind of fits into that same space where McCree does, just based off of gameplay. She looks like a character that not McCree. I meant to say Soldier 76. She looks like a character that it kind of seems a good starter character. Mm-hmm. Just the way that people have been doing plays with her, like it doesn't seem like she takes sort of the precision that Widow and McCree does. Mm-hmm. I think her damage could probably be toned down a little bit if the way she seems to play indicates the way she actually plays. But I feel like she could fit in fairly well. Also, the dynamite thing she does is really cool. Yeah, and I think that's part of the skill of her character.
Yeah, you can. Well, she throws the dynamite; it explodes on itself, or you can shoot it.
Yeah,
and which is kind of cool. But it's, from what I've heard, kind of difficult to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So you have this character that kind of fits into that It appears. I don't know. I haven't played her, but it seems like she fits into that low skill bar. But she also has like that side of her that like if you're really good, you could do some cool fucking shit.
Yeah, and on the topic of her cinematic, I kind of talked about this with Taylor too. Personally, I really enjoy the Overwatch cinematics. The game has been out for what, 3 years now?
2 years?
I think
I'll look it up.
it's
Keep
been
talking.
3. I think it's been
Keep
3. So I really, really enjoyed it. I always loved watching them whenever they came out. It's getting to the point now where I am tired of seeing cinematics that they're no longer progressing. They have never progressed the lore or anything.
2016.
So
2 years.
2 years. They're not progressing the lore at all with any of these stories anymore. It's just it's telling the stories that are kind of all happening at the same time. May waking up, this thing happening with McCree, because like in the cinematic they talk about, oh yeah, Overwatch is getting back together, and it's like, yeah, I've known they've been getting back together for the past 2 years that this game has come out. Like,
yeah,
I need some progression if we're just going to keep doing this kind of pattern that they're on right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for me, the cinematics have been on a pretty like steady decline for quite a while. I did not really enjoy the McCree one. The May one was fine.
I didn't enjoy
Diva one was
Diva's.
bad.
Like as much as I love playing Diva as a character, her cinematic did nothing. It was just
like,
here's a side thing that happened, and
like
that's
really
it.
the last good one I thought was the Reinhardt one, but that was also after 2 bad ones, I think. But I also kind of like I've just kind of given up on that side of it. Like for me, if I go into Overwatch every year expecting it to be, developing a story or lore or a bigger world, I'm going to be disappointed every year. That's not what this game is, and it's never going to be that because I don't know why, but I wish Blizzard would again take risks and figure that out. But I can accept the fact that it's a fun esport to watch. I'll probably never play the game again. I think I've resigned myself to probably never opening it again unless I can find 6 people or 5 people that want to play on PC. But I do really enjoy watching it. I enjoy seeing people play these characters. It's actually one of the few games I enjoy watching, but I think I just can't be disappointed by it anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Warcraft 3 is getting a remaster. According to the official website, Warcraft 3 Reforged is a reimagining of the real-time strategy classic. The game will feature vivid recreations of every unit, hero, building, environment, and cutscene with 4K support. The game will also feature multiplayer and modern matchmaking. Chris, you excited about this?
No, I suck at RTSs. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I thought Warcraft 3 was really fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I've told this story before, when I was in sophomore in high school, our German class had like 7 computers that our teacher let us put Warcraft 3 on, and then we'd connect them all LAN, so we'd all play around with each other during like study periods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just suck at RTSs, so I'm never actually going to play it. However, I think it's really fucking cool. I think Warcraft 3 is one of the coolest Warcraft stories out there. So
Yeah.
Everett, you looked like you were about to pee your pants when I asked Chris if he was excited. Are you excited about it?
Yeah.
He says yes.
he can hear. He can hear us. They can hear Everett.
No, he can't. No, they can't.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How would you know?
Yeah. I don't listen to
I
podcasts.
thought you could hear
Also,
him.
stop dissecting the pillow.
I'm not dissecting it.
Look what you're doing.
This is how it's been.
I tried to include him in the intro last week, and I thought I could hear him clearly in audition, but you can't hear him on the actual thing.
Whatever.
But-
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I think Arthas is still one of my favorite characters of all time, and then Illidan has a huge part in Warcraft 3 as well. So just good shit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the story that happens in Warcraft 3 and then its expansion directly kind of leads into World of Warcraft, right? Is that dumb or crazy?
It's part of one of the main stories in World of Warcraft. Yes, just Warcraft in general. It doesn't. It's always Horde versus Alliance.
Yeah.
So that leads into it. But yeah, the end of Warcraft 3 sets up for like Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what interests me. I mean, depending on what the price point is, I don't know if they've announced it yet. I like RTSs. I think RTSs are great, but it's cool. The new cutscenes look amazing, and so it's cool for me to be like, oh, like now that I'm getting into World of Warcraft, it'd be neat to like go and sort of like get a little bit more about the story and actually see it in cutscenes and not have to listen to some weird guy with a weird accent describe it on YouTube.
The thing is, though, is like in World of Warcraft, there are quests that you can play that recap the story of Warcraft 3 anyway.
Okay.
So like there's a dungeon. So one of the biggest plot points in Warcraft 3 is the Culling of Stratholme, which is kind of like the
Culling of Stratholme?
The Culling of Stratholme, which is like the turning point for Arthas as a character, for him to become evil, right? An evil character.
Which character is that? Which one is he?
The Lich King.
Okay.
You go and actually play that event in Warcraft 3 as a dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Same thing with like Illidan stuff and shit. Why am I forgetting his name? Storm. What is the elves? What's the night elves druid's name? Malfurion. Tyrande and Illidan play huge parts in Warcraft 3, but you can get their story in different quests in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to necessarily play Warcraft 3. It's all there. It's just a matter of knowing where to look in World of Warcraft because that game's fucking huge.
I mean, I don't remember the story of Warcraft, like, now that I'm thinking about it. It's been...
Warcraft 3?
Yes. It's been over 12 years since I played that game.
It's a shit ton of stories in one big-ass game. It tells how Sylvanas became the Banshee Queen. It tells how...
Sylvanas, the current leader of the Horde.
Yes. It tells how she became the Banshee Queen. It talks about how Arthas basically wiped out the High Elves, just completely off the map.
Wait, I thought the Blood Elves were High Elves.
Yeah, they were.
They were.
And so what happened?
So when Arthas wiped the High Elves, basically destroyed their culture, the Blood Elves lost their magic. Or High Elves lost their magic. And
then they made a pact with like that weird...
And a portion of them
magic.
went and found the Blood Well
and
got magic that way.
Oh, okay.
And so you have that. You have, like I said, you have the Illidan stuff where Malfurion and Tyrion, their little love triangle. You have that.
Malfurion,
Illidan. Malfurion and Illidan were both in love with Tyrande. Tyrande?
Okay.
How do you say it? Tyrande. And so that little love triangle's there. But it also tells how Illidan was essentially becomes the demon hunter that he is.
Okay.
It also, again, it also, like I said, basically tells Arthas' story to the dark side. There's a lot of fucking stories in Warcraft 3. A shit ton.
That's cool.
Also,
I don't think my young brain absorbed most of that. Like.
Also, on top of the still Alliance versus Horde. Still, man, what am I doing blanking on names? Anduin's father. What was the
former king?
Yeah, the former king. What the fuck is his name? Starts with a V.
Oh, don't! I just know who Anduin is.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
No, it starts with a V. God damn it, Varian.
Varian.
Yeah, is it Varian? Whatever. It's also that thing. It's also Varian versus Thrall, right? The Alliance leader and the Horde leader, and like how that plays out, and like it's.
And then before then, when all the aliens invaded.
Yeah, the aliens as well.
The demon aliens.
The demon aliens. The Legion is the Burning Legion.
Yeah, Varian. That's right.
Varian. Yeah, and then also the Burning Legion. It's the Warcraft 3 explains what the Legion is and why they're so dangerous.
The Burning Legion are the things that the god that like got Outcast created, right?
No, the Burning Legion serve old gods.
There it is.
They're aliens. They're basically aliens.
And their goal is to...
Yeah, they're
Ascended
Draenei that went dark side, hard dark side.
What are Draenei?
The race of like hoofed creatures.
The blue ones.
Oh, the ones with the tentacled beards.
The Burning Legion. The leaders of the Burning Legion originated at the same planet that the Draenei did, except they went dark side, brought the evil there, which made the Draenei leave. And then the Burning Legion had been chasing the Draenei all across the universe until they finally got to Azeroth.
And so the Burning Legion is trying to wipe out the Draenei?
The Burning Legion is just trying to take over everything.
Okay.
They're basically they're the ultimate evil in the world.
And the demon hunters exist to hunt down and destroy the Burning Legion.
Right.
Okay.
It's still
I'm slowly picking up on it. It's taking me a really long time, but
It's dude.
Yeah.
Warcraft. It's weird, right? I don't like Overwatch, but I'll talk about it real quick. It's weird that a company like Blizzard, who has legitimately written this entire saga over 11 years, can't write a story, or either doesn't want to write a story for Overwatch, or maybe has and they just can't deliver it correctly or something. It's crazy.
In the way that it's taken us like 15 minutes to make sense of all this stuff and put it in a way that people can understand, I think I can understand why they would want to put out a game where there's no story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe.
Like, can you imagine when it's like, all right, we're going to do a new expansion.
Dude,
Okay, well, let's consult our compendium of 11 years of history.
Diablo's the same damn way,
our
man.
historians.
Yeah, Diablo's the same damn way, dude. From Diablo 1 all the way to 3, it's like, that's a big ass fucking story.
Speaking of Diablo,
Let's talk about that.
last thing on our news list this week. Throughout the last couple of weeks, we have reported that a new Diablo game appeared to be in the works. Diablo Immortal was officially revealed at BlizzCon, and it turns out that the game will be available on mobile. Immortal will take place between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, and will introduce new abilities, zones, enemies, and dungeons. Players will have the opportunity to play as 6 classes. Fans were immediately disappointed with this announcement, with one live questioner on the stream asking if Diablo Immortal was, quote, an out-of-season April Fool's joke, end quote. The announcement trailer is currently sitting at 18,000 likes and 447,000 dislikes, though Blizzard appears to have manipulated the voting in a couple of different ways by taking the video down, re-putting it up. Dislikes were just disappearing at one point. So I would guess that this is probably sitting at like 600 to 700,000 dislikes.
I thought it was a cool idea.
Do you not have phones?
I thought mobile Diablo was a cool idea, just like I thought Diablo on Switch was a fucking cool idea.
I think the game in itself is a fine idea. I think announcing it the way that they did was not a good idea.
I think that people have summed this up in a bunch of different places. This is not an original idea. You've probably heard it on every video game podcast you've listened to. The place to announce a mobile Blizzard game is not BlizzCon.
Sure. Of course.
You know, the people that are there, most of them are PC players. In fact, like if you're not a PC player, even if you like love Overwatch and Diablo and just play it on your console, it's still kind of not worth it for you to go to BlizzCon because you don't have access to half the shit you just bought.
Well, I mean, and going off of that too, what spurred the whole the famous quote of what don't you guys have phones was someone in the QA line asking, is this going to be solely mobile, or are there plans to eventually make some sort of PC port or something like that? And they said, as of right now, no, more than likely it's just going to be just mobile, in which the audience booed very loudly.
Sure.
And then they replied with, what, don't you have phones?
I think the other thing that bothers me about this too, again, not an original thought, but a lot of people, I think this game's being made by NetEase.
Something like that.
And they've made a couple of different games that are basically Diablo clones. And the reason why NetEase is making this game is because this game is very specifically being made for China and Japan, where mobile gaming is bigger than anything else. But in order to publish a game in China, you have to have a Chinese partner working on the game. But the problem with NetEase is that with some of the animations in this game and the way that some of the powers seem to work and some of the art and assets and everything, it kind of just looks like, again, not an original thought, it looks like a reskin of other games that NetEase has made. It would be different if this was made for the ground up for mobile by Blizzard and it was, you know, truly a Blizzard game and a Blizzard work of art, but it's not that. So it's hard for me to get on board and think of this as any more than just a cash grab.
According to Blizzard, this game was built from the ground up. Now
that's fine, but the evidence doesn't seem to support that claim.
Exactly, yeah. Who knows if that's true or not?
I thought it looked cool.
I think,
but I'm also a casual Diablo fan, and I think shitting and playing Diablo sounds like fun. I do, man.
That's
it's
where your
like,
mind goes. Like,
yeah, like
You own a Switch, Chris.
I understand that, but I also don't want to pay another $30 since I already paid for Diablo 3 on my PS4. I don't want to pay another $30 on the Switch when I can just pay like $10. Even on my phone to have a Diablo experience. I understand if you're going to be if you're a hardcore Diablo fan,
a Diablo purist,
when you pay the $2,000 or however the hell much it costs to go to BlizzCon, and you're sitting there at the Diablo panel waiting for this thing that you are hoping is announced, not get announced, I totally understand the disappointment. I get it. But I'm not that guy, so I don't care that much.
I just have a hard time thinking about it though, because I don't think I'm mad. Like, my initial thought when all this happened was I kind of don't care. I have opinions, but I'm not like writing a angry tweet to Blizzard telling them how much they suck. But I just don't understand, with the success of Reaper of Souls and the continued success of Diablo 3, why haven't they made another expansion? Like, I get that they're doing season stuff and that's cool and great and all that, but why not make another Reaper of Souls? Like,
because then who's going to make the new Ash cinematic?
Yeah, exactly. But there were reports that Kotaku had reported that initially there was supposed to be a video of them saying like, "Hey, Diablo 4 exists, but we're not ready to talk about it yet." Blizzard denied it, and then Jason Schreier kind of backed up on that reporting. But it seems that though Diablo 4 has gone through a bunch of different iterations, that it's probably 3 or 4 years out of being completed because they can't figure out what they want to do with it.
Diablo 4, you just make the same damn game, make it look prettier, and add some new abilities.
But
it's not hard.
But I just don't understand why in the meantime they wouldn't be like, oh, here's an expansion. Like, we're not ready. Diablo 4 is not close to being completed, but we have this team that's working on an expansion, and you can see this in a year.
Even if they didn't put out an expansion, even if it was just, hey, Diablo 4 is something that we're working on, here's this mobile game that we also, have been working on. Enjoy that in the meantime.
Because I don't know. I kind of feel like if they were supposed to make that announcement at all, it was a good idea not to make it, because I just don't. We all know they're working on Diablo 4, and it's not a secret. They're not even keeping it a secret. But I think there's something to be said about like not revealing a game too early. Also,
they have not even put a clear release date on this mobile game, and in the QA session, they had very limited answers on what they could and could not.
Because they're not making it.
But like, why would you announce a mobile game on the stage, and then two, why would you not even have clear answers for a game that people aren't even excited for?
Well, because the mobile
I don't know. It seems like a double whammy.
Because we released a new Ash character in Overwatch.
Realistically, though, like Immortal's probably coming out in a year or two, or actually, I would say probably next year. I would bet money it's coming out next year. So like announcing that is less of a risk because you have a fully fledged concept. With Diablo 4, there seems to be no concept. There doesn't even seem to be like an alpha build of it, because they can't figure out what they want to do with it. So,
well, yeah, no, I'm not saying like they should have. Let's take them saying anything about Diablo 4 off the table. If this Diablo Immortal mobile game isn't anywhere near being ready either, then I guess just leave Diablo off the BlizzCon stage. I don't know.
I think that point is just where it might be different. I think it is ready. I think they're just probably putting finishing touches on it, as opposed. Again, I think that's why they announced it. If it was far away, I can't imagine they would have said anything.
Yeah,
but also I think there's a certain amount of, to your point, like Blizzard taking advantage of the Diablo hype train and trying to manipulate it a bit.
What Diablo hype train?
The one that's existed for like the past 2 or 3 BlizzCons, where everyone's like, Diablo 4 is getting announced this year. Diablo 4 is getting announced this year.
That hype train.
Yeah.
It's like the game's not hyped. Like they release like new editions and people buy it when it's on sale, but that doesn't mean it's hyped. But I understand that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. But that's every convention, right? Every convention, a huge group of people goes in. It's like, today, this is the year they're going to announce KOTOR 3, or this is the year that we're going to see footage from Elder Scrolls 9. It's like, this is it. Like, it happens every convention.
Yeah.
Hey, but sometimes you get lucky, and then you go to E3, and then it's like,
Final
boom.
Fantasy VII's right there.
But I think that's why it's a little bit nefarious. Is that they were trying to take advantage of that and make people excited for a product that they wouldn't have been excited for.
Sure, possibly.
Because,
however, they're not excited, but I am. Like I said, shitting and playing Diablo at the same time sounds like a good 5 minutes of my time.
Did you watch any of the trailer for it?
Nope.
There was a cool.
Don't care. It's Diablo. Same damn game. It's been the same game since Diablo 1, which, again, I don't understand. Like, if they don't have an alpha build for Diablo 4, why the hell not?
The alpha build is Diablo 3.
Literally been the same. It's literally been the same game since Diablo 1. Diablo 1, 2, and 3 are the exact same game.
Yeah.
Don't need to fix what's not broken.
Yeah. I was just going to say there's a cool, almost like a paladin looking character on like a horse mount, but he had some sort of move where he almost had this light, this string of light that was grabbing onto enemies as he was riding by.
It sounds like the
Would you call it a lasso of light?
I was avoiding lasso. I already talked about lassos.
That sounds like the class
Crusader.
Yeah, Crusader. Sounds like a Crusader.
You've
that
never played
in-
Diablo, have you?
Was that in 3?
Crusaders
Reaper
in
Souls.
3, yeah.
I didn't play Reaper Souls. Just 3.
Oh, yeah.
That
Crusader
was an
not a
added one.
base character?
No, that came with Reaper Souls.
There you go.
Again, something people got really mad about because it wasn't the, I don't know, Necromancer or whatever. I guess you just can't make Blizzard fans happy, is what we've learned in this segment of the show. Everett, what time are
You
we
can
at?
never make Blizzard fans happy.
You can't make anyone happy.
Hour 30?
Yeah, you can never make Blizzard fans happy, though. Like, for real. Like, they're Blizzard fans. You didn't even talk about the fucking, like, I don't call it outrage, but you didn't even, like, WoW 8.2 got talked about. And, like, there's a huge chunk of people that are just like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
like,
is that-
allied races?
That's something
It's
that's
like,
something that I didn't see. I honestly didn't know that was a thing. I didn't see it get reported like at all from the sites I was.
yeah,
looking
but that's
at.
but for
So
the,
explain it.
well, for the most part, I don't want to explain it. For the most part, WoW announced 8.2, and it all looks really fucking cool. Maybe some new allied races, mechanomes,
Wait,
and maybe some Naga.
Oh, like actual like new races?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
But why are people mad? Like what?
Because
I'm
they're
curious.
dumb.
Okay, but like
Every reason a gamer is mad is dumb.
what are their dumb reasons for being mad?
Because people don't like working for allied races.
Yeah, I guess I mean I don't agree with that, but I can see that.
And people are adding more allied races is just a further artificial reason to play the game without
Artificial
not
depth.
actually content. Yeah, but it's like I said, it's all just dumb. This is the Diablo thing. It's literally dumb. Just because a game wasn't announced for you doesn't mean you should go fucking cry your eyes out in the corner drinking your fucking Frito pie or eating your Frito pie. It's
Drinking
like-
your Frito pie.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Don't do that.
But question though. World of Warcraft, as I understand it, it's not like Destiny where you get an expansion and then you have to wait for the next paid DLC to get more content, right?
Oh no, yeah. Once you buy the expansion, it's all there
For a year,
Yeah.
you're getting
Or
regular
2.
updates.
2 years.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For 2 years, you get regular updates, new story, new dungeons, new quests, bunch of shit to do, right? So you kind of constantly have a reason to log in.
Sure.
So I guess I don't get why people would be mad about having extra stuff to do on top of the new stuff they're already getting.
Because they're Blizzard fans.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, it's I guess it's the same reason, sometimes we complain about Destiny. I don't know.
Sometimes.
Oh, with
Yeah,
Destiny, where you get stuck. It's not like I have something to go for.
Yeah,
next
that's true.
month.
I don't know what the difference is, but like Blizzard fans for the longest time have just been they're a bunch of whiny little shitheads.
I don't think
mean,
it's
they
just Blizzard
are.
fans though. I think it's just
I think like diehard Blizzard fans are just whiny little shitheads.
but I think
like-
that's diehard any fan. Like
I don't
are
think it's
there-
no, it's not because like look at Bethesda and BioWare with Trey and I. I would call us diehard Bethesda and BioWare fans. And if KOTOR doesn't get announced, we're not fucking crying our eyes out and our Frito pies afterwards.
I think it's just. I think it's like disproportionately. Like, yeah, people in all communities are shitty, but it seems like there's this loud, vocal part of the Blizzard community
Sure.
that makes it stand out more. That makes their shit stink a little bit more than everyone else's.
Sure,
I
possibly.
mean, because it's the same thing you see with Destiny. Like the average TJ doesn't care that the temporal surge thing is there.
TJ doesn't care anymore, period, because he stopped playing Destiny.
Okay, last year's TJ wouldn't have
Sure.
cared. He wouldn't have had a strong opinion about it. It just didn't matter. He played Destiny because his friends were playing it and he enjoyed it and all that. Meanwhile, like we have this 3-hour opinion about it.
I mean, it's not necessarily your job, but In a
No,
sense,
but-
it is your.
No, but there's a difference between having an opinion over something and the company devaluing something that we've already worked for.
Sure.
And this.
Sure,
This
my-
is just a game that wasn't announced.
My point being that like there's always those vocal sides of the community, and some
Okay,
communities
I
have
see.
it more than
Sure.
others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of those communities are, you know, a little bit more toxic than others. And I would say Destiny probably lines up with that for the most part. I wouldn't say we're toxic. I hope
No,
not.
I think we're constructive,
Yeah.
if anything. But I think, but again, you're right, and I think a lot of it has to do with like, if you were to, me personally, I think out of all my years of gaming, PC has the most toxic community to me. Just my personal experience. Out of all the gaming consoles, things that I've ever done, PC seems like it has the most toxic people playing it. And I think there's no, you know, other than Overwatch, there are no Blizzard games on console. So the toxic community is Blizzard is toxic. They just are. There's always something negative coming out of BlizzCon. There's always something that the fans are in an uproar about. There's always something.
And maybe because
when it
it's
comes
made
to
up
Blizzard.
because it's made up mostly of PC players. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, right? Because we, you know, people who play on Xbox and PS4 they can't just alt tab straight to Reddit and just start fucking flaming anybody they want to. On PC, you say whatever the hell you want because you're behind an alias and nobody knows who you are. So if you're playing this thing and all of a sudden something bad happens, you just alt tab out and fucking flame on Reddit.
Nah, man, you don't. You have multiple screens. You have
well,
Reddit
exactly.
open all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like with a PlayStation and Xbox, you don't have that, so people aren't
It's a size issue though. Like, I think again, like the PC community is so small, even across a bunch of different games. Like, it stands out more as opposed to Xbox and PS4, where the majority of players are people that buy NBA.
Sure,
and Madden every year.
but it's growing though for sure.
Sure.
Like PC is growing and it doesn't seem like it's getting any more positive.
Like it's not diluting itself.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem that way. This is a perfect example of it.
Yeah,
At least the whole you know, April Fool's joke debacle, like that's just a perfect example of it still there and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And that's, you know, on the other side, that's kind of Blizzard. That is Blizzard's fault for not doing something. You can't go to fucking BlizzCon and announce a fucking mobile game. That would be like the first Bethesda conference. Todd Howard come out saying, "Here's Fallout Shelter. You guys have a good night."
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? Like,
No.
yeah.
I mean, like, part of the reason why I don't have a reaction to it, I have opinions, but part of the reason why I didn't have a reaction to it is because I am not part of that. I don't care about Blizzard games to such an extreme to where like I could really feel any emotion towards it, right? Like even Overwatch, I think is a game that like I'm not a Blizzard fanboy. I like Blizzard.
Yeah.
I think they're a great company.
Yep,
I think they
yep,
make
yep,
great
yep.
games. But I think part of the reason why you have this happen is that like there are people that deeply care in the same way where we get mad about stupid Bungie stuff all the time. I think that those people exist in for Blizzard communities, and I think that like I think the biggest problem with Blizzard, and I think the reason why this keeps happening to them more than everyone else, and also I would say Bungie probably has the same issue, is that you can kind of predict. If you name just a random scenario, you can predict how their community is going to react. But I don't think that Blizzard knows how to predict it. I think Blizzard does shit all the time, and we as gamers and people that have been following this shit for forever know that's going to piss people off.
Mm-hmm.
But Blizzard, for whatever reason, does not know how to talk to their community.
Sure.
And sometimes they get it right. But I think for the most part, Overwatch does it right. But with World of Warcraft and Diablo and StarCraft, anytime they open their mouths, they piss like off a large portion of their small communities. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why it's so hard for them to figure it out. Because if we had known beforehand that Immortal was a mobile game, if there was any rumor that had any sort of like substantial backing behind it, I could have told you last week that it would be a bad idea to announce it at BlizzCon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they don't know. How do they not know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the same. I think I don't know. It's developers in general, right? Bungie's the same way. They don't know. They don't know what people want. That's why they have to have these dumb these events where streamers come down and they tell Bungie what they think the game should be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just I don't understand why developers don't have an idea of what gamers actually want, because they're playing the games too, right? They're seeing the reception that Red Dead has gotten, right? And it's like, oh, that's what gamers want. I'm not saying Bungie needs to go make Red Dead Redemption. I'm just saying, it's like, oh, this is what gamers want. This is what they're looking for. It's like, we're not looking for a temporal surge, Bungie.
Well,
we're looking for meaningful content with something to drive us forward.
Well,
or Blizzard, like, your fans have been, salivating over Diablo 4 for the last 3 years. It's like, if you don't have it ready, then just talk about it. I think that would have been just fine if you just talked about it. Say, here's Diablo Immortal. This is what we're doing now, but we're also working on Diablo 4. It's just I don't understand why. Maybe it's stockholders, maybe it's upper echelon guys that just don't get it. I don't know. I honestly don't. I just don't fucking understand it.
They are co-owned by Activision.
Sure, it's the same way with like Azerite armor that I explained with WoW. It's like, how did that get past QA testing? How did a randomly rolled RNG-based armor system in a game that is built around players chasing sets a good idea?
Well,
How did that get by you guys?
And that's my point, because as much as there are a lot of developers that don't know how to talk to their audiences, but you have people out there that are like Rockstar and
they
CD
never
Projekt
talk
Red.
to their audience.
But when they do, when they announce stuff for their games, when they do shit, people don't get mad.
Yeah,
there was not a single time where they announced one of the thousands of fucking free content updates for Grand Theft Auto 5 and had a $150 plane where anyone in their community started fucking losing their mind. And then CD Projekt Red, the most annoying thing that I've seen this week is all these people that have been comparing a Blizzard to CD Projekt. There was this meme that was going around that was basically announces a game 5 years in advance and keeps you up to date on it over a long period of time, and then there's this company that just announces a mobile game and ignores Diablo 4, and then it's like Blizzard and the CD Projekt Red logo on each side.
Doesn't make any sense.
CD Projekt Red is great.
Sure,
they're awesome. They did not need to talk about Cyberpunk 5 years ago.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They started talking. The reason why they got away with talking about it is because it was before fucking Witcher 3 came out, and no one really cared about them yet. They had a small community, so whatever. But CD Projekt gets away with fucking murder. How do they do it? How do they figure that out? Those companies that can do whatever the fuck they want with their communities, and no one really reacts. They exist.
It's the same. So Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Skyrim. All those games in the gaming community and in Bethesda circles would be considered some of the best games ever made. But they're 100% not. You hit a game-breaking glitch in Fallout 4 that just didn't let you move forward. You had to reload a save or whatever it was.
I did choose a different path to complete the story.
There are game-breaking bugs in all those games I just said. However, they are regarded as some of the best games ever made because it's Bethesda. And Bethesda 5 years ago, these bugs they're part of the game. These glitches make the game what it is, right? They're using Gamebryo. It's still old, but it still works. It's all good. But now we're 2018, and you got Fallout 76 coming out, and these bugs are extremely prevalent because it's an online game.
And they're so much more damaging because it's online.
And now it's coming to fruition. It's like, man, this game sucks. It's not going to survive, blah, 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 all this other shit. And at some point in time, companies... their leeway runs out, and I think it just depends on how many games they put out. That's the thing with Rockstar. Rockstar puts out a game every 5 years, where Blizzard puts out 2 or 3 games in the span of 2 or 3 years.
Is that true?
I think so, right? I mean, I would consider all the expansions games for WoW.
I guess I would just say.
I just think at some point in time, fans lose patience with developers, and then you see shit like this happen. If CD Projekt Red got big enough where they were putting out 2 or 3 games maybe every year or so, sorry, maybe not that many,
But like
a game
other
every year, yeah, I think people would start to lose patience with CD Projekt Red too.
Sure.
I need to start breathing when I talk.
Sure. I feel like that's something that, like, if I was the CEO of Blizzard, my number one thing would be like, we need to get a fucking community management team that knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, possibly.
Because obviously the one that we have doesn't.
Sure. Or if I'm the CEO at Blizzard, I'm naked in my fucking king size California bed filled with $100 bills and, taking baths and, shredded money that's made cream paste that I'm rubbing all over myself. And I don't give a flying shit about the people playing these games.
Thousands of miles away from BlizzCon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's in the fucking he's in the fucking Tahiti.
I would definitely
Anaheim, Canada.
I would hope that person gives a shit. Like,
I don't. I would hope so too, but I doubt it.
Well, then
there would be so many
top,
levels of disconnect.
Whoever the top level decision maker who gives a shit, I hope that person would be like, we need a new community management team. Let's fire everyone and start hiring.
But you would imagine at least one person in this conference room where they're like planning out BlizzCon. Not one person was like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Well, but ultimately, like, here's what it comes down to, though.
That's that comic where the guy gets thrown out the window.
But I don't think part of my, actually to play devil's advocate on this whole community management thing, the Western audience is very mad. But no one is talking about like what happened in China the day that was announced.
Probably my reaction is like, "Hey, that's going to be awesome."
Yeah, so I would guess that they might not even care. I would guess that they probably made that announcement for the Eastern audience, and they don't really give a shit how the U.S. is reacting because we're not the market for that game.
It's true. I feel like as Americans, we do forget there is a couple billion people out there that this game might be for.
Tell you what, though. Next year's BlizzCon is going to be awesome.
Why?
Because they're not going to. They're not. Yeah. Well, no, they're not going to do this again next year.
Oh, I thought you were being the hypothetical. Like
no.
Next
I'm
year,
just saying. Like I'm just saying. They. I mean, it only takes one fucking match to burn a field, and they're not going to burn another one down. You know what I mean?
They're the fucking biggest. Their biggest market is China, and every BlizzCon is going to be this.
Sure, I mean, no, like look at it. Like look at the BE3 ones. Bethesda, first year Bethesda, they announced Fallout 4. Holy shit, this is amazing. Next year, the best thing they have is that weird fucking Evil Within trailer and Dishonored 3, Dishonored 2. It's like that's the best you came to this with.
The year after that was Wolfenstein 2.
Well, no, the year after that has it been 3 or 4 years?
4.
So the year after that was Wolfenstein 2. He's like, you came to E3, a conference for this again, and then this last year, it's like Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, Fallout 76, Rage 2.
Well,
did Rage 2 come out?
No, Rage 2 is supposed to come out.
How have we forgotten about? I've totally forgotten about Rage 2.
How could you forget?
Like it is. I have literally just forgotten about Rage 2.
The thing about BE3 though, to their discredit, that wasn't a matter of them like figuring shit out. That was a matter of eventually, if you have enough of these, you're going to have something big to announce.
Which is why I say, like for BlizzCon,
so
they didn't have shit this year. They really didn't. Yeah. Ash, cool, I guess. 8.2, yeah, we knew all this was coming. Diablo Immortal.
Did they even talk about 8.2 on stage? I don't think they did.
Oh, they did. They had a WoW panel.
Well, they coupled it with WoW Vanilla,
like going
more
part
into
of the
that.
opening ceremony, like this other stuff.
But then, like next year, right? Next year, we're probably going to get a freaking maybe an expansion announcement, maybe a Diablo 4 announcement. Maybe we'll get something more substantial from Overwatch next year.
I don't know,
Probably
man.
not. I doubt. Overwatch is so stagnant where it's at. It's perfect for them.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
it's stagnant for us, but the reality is that this stuff works for the people that just play Overwatch.
Right. I'm sorry. And when I mean stagnant, I mean like I feel like that's still a good word. It is stagnant. It's just Overwatch isn't going anywhere. Like it's not evolving. Just because you add a new chick with a repeater rifle doesn't make the game infinitely better. It's just it's a stagnant game. And that's not bad.
I think they've hit their sweet spot for what they want Overwatch to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They have this growing.
What they think Overwatch should be sweet spot.
They have this growing esports league. A majority of their player base is happy. They continuously are coming back. They have events that drive up their player count, and they're fine with that formula. They've figured out
and I mean
what they're doing with that game.
That kind of just like when I think about Blizzard, like part of me just they've been spinning their wheels for a really long time, and the fucking car's not going anywhere. Like Overwatch was a big deal. That was 2 years ago. Diablo 3 was a big deal. That was 5 years ago.
4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. 4 or 5 years ago. World of Warcraft, as much as like you've seen a lot of changes with that over the last 5-10 years, the reality of that game is that like it still is always going to appeal to a niche audience.
Sure, of course.
So when you really think about like kind of Blizzard as a company, the last big thing they did was Overwatch, and it really just kind of appealed to a very specific crowd that's super different than the crowd that their other games attract.
But it's huge.
Sure.
That crowd's big.
Sure, but eventually like, and maybe by the time Diablo 4 comes out, that'll kind of be, it'll fix everything. But eventually like, you just have to look at a company and be like, how are you? You're not innovating. You're not doing new things. You've been doing the same thing for the past decade, and it sucks because you have so much potential as a company.
Which is my point of it kind of goes back to my point of I think they're losing patience with Blizzard. Mm-hmm. I think gamers or even that diehard is beginning to lose patience with them. Just like I think I am beginning to lose patience with Bungie. Like I'm to the point now where it's like I honestly just don't care. I don't care what Bungie has to say. I've already bought your content. You've already hook, line, and sinkered me with your content. So of course I'm going to play it when it comes out. But I don't care what it is. I don't care what's in Black Armory. I just don't. I'm still going to play it, but I just don't care. I do not care how you're going to evolve this game because I know it's not going to, by next year, it's not going to be for me anymore. It's just not.
You've reached that point in y'all's relationship where you and Bungie have gotten a divorce, but you're still coming together for your child.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it's just weird. I just don't care, man. And it's just so prevalent with other companies, especially recently, where it's like I don't hear every week in a newsletter from Rockstar. But they deliver Red Dead Redemption. Holy shit, man. This is exactly what I want. It's exactly what I've been looking for in a game.
I think that's just kind of one of those curses of online persistently updated games.
Sure, yeah.
I think
that but then like GTA Online, I don't think Rockstar puts out a newsletter of everything they're doing every week in GTA Online. I don't need that because it's just they know what they're doing. And
GTA Online is just it's so different because I like jumping in and playing, and I like getting new cars and getting new outfits and all that. But Rockstar doesn't create the addiction that Destiny and World of Warcraft and Overwatch do.
Sure.
Like, you can get in and have fun and have a really good time and want to play it, but it's not like World of Warcraft or Destiny when you get to a point where it's like, I haven't logged in so long, is it even worth playing anymore?
Yeah.
And I think as much as like, I don't want to use this word because it has a negative connotation, but there's something to be said about that casual online experience as opposed to the quote, hardcore experience. And the hardcore one is what burns me out.
Sure.
And maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're feeling the same way.
I don't think it's burnout because I'm more than willing to go play Destiny, and I always have fun playing the game. There's never a time where I'm not having fun shooting, Taken in the face. So I don't necessarily think it's burnout because I know what burnout feels like. I don't think it's burnout. It's just I've lost patience with what Bungie's doing. I've lost patience for this game that they clearly are not making for me anymore.
Well, doesn't it suck though? Like when you think about a year ago, Chris, to today, Chris. Like a year ago, Chris was super pumped for Curse of Osiris, was excited to spend that $15. Whereas like today, Chris seems like, well, of course I'm going to spend the $15, but that doesn't mean that like I'm going to lose my mind about the release of Black Armory.
Well, I'm not going to. But that's the thing is I'm not spending money. They've already got my money. Right, I'm not going to spend money on Destiny
in another buy the year. Season pass?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Then whatever. A third of the price of the season pass. Like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sure, maybe, but not really. It's like I don't know. Does it suck? No. I don't know how to describe it. Like there's better things on the horizon than Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's Red Dead and Red Dead Online, and I'm really looking forward to Fallout 76 because it gives me and Whitney something to play with other than WoW.
Yeah.
And fucking in January is Kingdom Hearts, and then freaking February is Anthem. And man, I've been watching a lot of Anthem stuff, and it's still like the game looks like a lot of fucking fun. And then March, you guys are gonna lose me in March because Division is out. And that's the thing is like, does it suck that I'm not playing Destiny? No, because it's less.
I from someone who's your friend and like who has spent a lot of time with you over 4 years of Destiny, actually 5 years because we became friends. Yeah, we became friends right after the first the game came out. But it like this podcast started out in a place where like you made fun of me, not in a mean way, but you made fun of me for playing Destiny and for liking Destiny. And then Taken King came out, and you were on that bandwagon, and it sucks to be like, 4 years later. I don't know. It's like, it sucks to see you not excited about it. And it's not that I feel differently. Like I feel like I kind of feel the same way. Where it's like, of course I'm going to buy Black Armory, and of course I'm going to play it, but I'm not like a new leak comes out. Like I just saw in the news that they data mined some shit from Black Armory, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I think that is sad though. It's sad because like the a year ago and 3 years before that, to me, Destiny was a game that like I had never had a hobby game before, and I had never had friends that played a hobby game. And last year we had people. We were doing the raid every week. We had people that we were playing Curse of Osiris with. A year later, you, me, and Daniel are the only 3 people that play Destiny anymore, and that sucks. Like that does suck. And it sucks to be like, oh man, like, yeah, I'm going to play Black Armory, but as soon as Kingdom Hearts comes out, I'm done with Destiny for a while.
Sure. I guess to an extent it sucks, but I'm not, I mean, you guys know me, I'm not a sentimental person. So that it's not like my friendship with you hangs in the balance of Destiny. You know what I mean? So like, does it suck that I'm not playing Destiny, and does it suck that we're not raiding every day or every week? It's like, yeah, it kind of sucks because I really enjoy playing games with my friends, but I'm not a nostalgic person. I don't have sentimental value for shit ever. Hell, I've got I'm selling that orange amp in there to a friend of mine. And I told my dad about it, and he's like, yeah, but what about all those times it's like, it's a fucking amplifier.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. That's extra money in my pocket. I've already got 3 other amps that I can play through that, I think it sounds like where you're coming from is like a sentimental thing, and
it's not sentimental. It's more just that like, again, as someone who didn't have a PC until 2 or 3 years ago, like, I didn't have a hobby game.
Sure.
I didn't have a game that I came back to all the time. I didn't have a game that I had friends playing with. And to me, it's not nostalgia. It's more sadness at like kind of the lack of potential that seemed to exist a year ago.
Oh, sure. Yeah, maybe, I guess. I wouldn't say sad.
Well, I mean,
what is this emotion that you
at this
speak
point,
of?
I'm not.
What are these
At
things?
this point, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. Like,
sure, yeah.
I am excited for Anthem. I'm excited for Division, but realistically, with the fact that like I have another year and a half of school left after the semester, I'm fucking working full time. I'm doing this every week, and everything else I have going on in my life. There is not room in my life for both. There's just not. There's not. There's not even room in my life for probably Destiny plus one. So there's a good chance that, come next November, the game that I'm playing is not the game that you're playing. I could be super into Destiny still, and you're like, well, like Destiny's great, but I'm playing Destiny, Anthem, and Division, and Anthem and Division are so much better than Destiny. I'm never going to play Destiny again. So now it's like there's a point in my future where a game that like I could log in on pretty much any given day and have someone to play with is suddenly a game where like I have to go out and try to make new friends, which I won't do, which means I probably won't play the game, like, because Destiny is not really a game for solo players, and I don't think Anthem or Division are going to be either, at least past their probably initial stories. And so for me, it's disappointing that I had this game that's a hobby, and now it's not going to be a hobby. And really, like, outside of Destiny, I would say that for us and our friend group, there has never really been a multiplayer game that's stuck to a point where like we've gone back to it after a month or two.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Fingers crossed for Red Dead. once.
Yeah,
so.
maybe. I don't. Like
No
I said, I
pressure.
don't. I don't. And I'm not saying that this is how this is what you're saying, but I don't anchor my friendships on video game playtime.
No,
I'm
I
not-
anchor
I'm-
my video games on my friendship time. Like it's the other way around.
Sure, but
Our friendship doesn't depend on Destiny, but like me continuing to enjoy Destiny kind of depends on if I have friends to play it with.
Sure, no,
Or
I
you
totally
might skip out
understand
on a
that.
game because of a game that Chris is playing.
Yeah, I
You'd rather play
totally
that.
understand that. However, I also I don't know. I just don't.
I mean that's why that's part of the reason why like I sold Division after like a couple weeks. Like we started playing, and because of the way that your schedule works, you were able to exponentially like outlevel me in that game to a point where like it wasn't even worth playing together. And so like of course I wasn't gonna get into Division because you were literally the only person I knew that was playing it.
Which I played solo quite a bit.
But that suits you.
Sure, and that's the thing is like I don't know. I don't know how to react to that. I just not playing. I'm just not going to play Destiny until Black
compute.
Armory comes out. Just you're right. My Ark showing real hard.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I'd rather sit down and play Red Dead and enjoy online there than put time into a video game. That's where my thing comes from. It's like I'm not going to invest time into a video game that I don't feel like is worth investing time into, even if my friends are there playing. Like I don't care. I'm not going to invest time into something that I don't see anything worth. Nothing's worth it because again, like I said, my friendships don't necessarily anchor on video games. Like I see Daniel every week. I see you almost every day. It only takes a text and I can talk to TJ or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Just, how, as much as I love playing video games with friends, that's not my,
It's not why you play
that's
video
not why I
games.
play video games. So I don't know. I guess it does kind of suck that we're not playing Destiny. Maybe it's an end of an era, right?
That's what
It's
I
an
was
end of a 4-year era. But like I said, I'm going to play Black Armory and I'll play Gambit Wild or Joker's Wild and I'll play the other one. But
Yeah, I don't.
Again,
at this point, I don't even know if I'm going to buy the DLCs.
yeah,
Like,
that's the thing is like if I log into Black Armory day one and it's just another, I don't know.
Which it will be.
Yeah, maybe it will be. I don't fucking know. They've got this Thunderlord quest thing going on right now, and yeah, like so it's like a 3-week gated or 4-week gated quest where it unlocks a new quest every week, and get Thunderlord. Hey, that's really fucking cool, but guess what? Thunderlord's not as good as Sleeper Simulant, so why would I give up my exotic slot for Thunderlord? There's no point in doing it. Just none whatsoever. So, and that that's just where I'm at with Destiny. That's all.
Well, we do need to close out because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Me too.
On that depressing note, if you guys like what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, the Google Play Store, and hopefully Spotify. Apparently, Spotify has lowered the requirements to get on it. So tonight, when I'm editing this episode, I'm going to pop in and see if we can get on. So keep an eye out for that. I'll send out a tweet if we get on. You can follow the show on Twitter at Twinstick Radio or on Facebook at facebook.com/Twinstick Radio. We are all on Twitter as well. I am at Darth Trey. Chris is at Shortchange Hero with a 3 instead of the E in Hero. And Justin is at Justin T. Lopez. Show is produced by Everett. Give him a follow on Twitter at The 56th. All letters, no numbers. And our theme song is by Connor Manning. Give him a follow on Twitter at Connor13. 1 N in Connor, 13 spelled out. And hire him to do music things through his studio, Downstream Studios. And that's it.
Nailed it.
Nailed
I've
it.
spent
Every
way
week.
too much money customizing my guns in Red Dead. Like a lot.
At least it's not real world money.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
I've made my Schofield revolver look like Trust from Destiny. The hand cannon.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really pretty.
I have a theme across all my weapons. That way, like...
Oh, also, I did learn one thing about Trey in Red Dead. He's terrible at naming horses.
that's
No,
not true.
we talked
Yes,
about that
it
last
is.
week.
Oh,
It
did
was
we?
like
My-
Storm, right? Or something? Winter.
So
Nighthawk, the black steed.
My black I had Winter and Dusk, and then
Okay, I had one,
on my
right?
new file wasn't really naming my horses because I knew I was going to go after the Arabian, and I got the Arabian, and my Arabian's name is Gemini, and I think that's a great name.
Gemini. Yeah, I guess so. All mine are supernatural references.
Oh. Nerd.
Is it nerdy?
A little bit.
One's name,
Wait, is it
one is
not
named
nerdy?
One is named Winchester.
Uh-huh.
One is named Ruby.
Okay.
One is named Kansas,
Okay.
and I named the other one
I
67.
thought Winchester was after the rifle, and I thought that was a really cool name. I did not realize
Sure, it could
that
be.
was
She could be after both.
sure,
Same damn
but,
thing.
Yeah,
but
why
that
not?
wasn't the main motivation.
The same thing.
Okay.
Ruby.
Those are better names than like, I don't know, like, oh, this is
Like-
Sam, this is Dean.
Or Dusk.
Dusk is a good name.
I just picture you crying like, Dean's dead. No.
No, I haven't killed any of my horses yet. I'm very, very careful with my horses. I have yet to kill a horse.
Have you flipped them a lot? Because I do.
No, I'm fairly good at. I was going to say driving a horse. Fairly good at controlling horses in Red Dead.
Automatic, yeah. Manual, that's a little iffy.
I'm not bad, but I think so. I got the Arabian right, and I feel like the Arabian's really hard. I don't know what it is about the Arabian,
I don't like it.
but more
It is not the
consistently,
best game. It is not the best horse in the game.
More
It's just
cons-
the fastest, right?
more consistently than any other horse I've ever ridden. I constantly run into trees with this horse,
Yep.
and I think it's because it's slightly harder to control.
Yep.
Because the horse is constantly mad at me.
So
It's a little wild.
I hate that people have gone, this is the best gun in the game, or this is the best horse in the game, because I think Rockstar does a really fucking good job at not doing that. I think Rockstar does an insanely good job at making a specific weapon work for a specific instance, and horses work for how you play, right? So for me, I have found the absolute perfect horse that is amazing across all freaking aspects of Chris is the Turcoman. Once you get to Saint Denis, you can buy one. It's like $900, but it is a war/race horse. That's its classification. So its speed, I think with the right saddle, you can get it up to 9. The acceleration's only like 6 or 7, and the handling is standard. It's not elite or perfect or whatever the hell it is. But its health, it's got a full bar health, and it's got over 3/4 of stamina. And it's the fucking best horse in this damn
Just a
game to
tank.
me.
Just-
No, it's not. It is a tank, but it also is super fast.
yeah.
I love this horse, and
other
it's
problem-
huge.
The other problem I have with the White Arabian is I'm constantly like going faster than companions
Sure,
when we're trotting
yeah.
next to each other, and I have to like stop and wait for them to catch up.
This is how vain I am. You know what my biggest complaint with the White Arabian was? When you're riding next to somebody, you're consistently looking up at him because the Arabian's the smallest
Yeah.
horse in the game. You're like, especially riding next to John or Bill,
Dude,
like you're just consistently looking up at those two dudes and
John
it bothered
and
the
Bill's
shit out of me.
horses look like fucking Godzilla horses.
It bothered the shit out of me that I was looking up at Bill. That should not happen because he's an asshat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, bye guys.